Okay. We will get started here soon. Good evening. Hold on, I gotta get my... Okay. We'll be testing a couple of games at 4K and maybe 1440 using FSR or FSR2.
Wait a minute, I'm busy. Got it. Oh yeah, you can't see the
We'll
screen.
be testing
Let me
Lies of
explain.
P,
I was just pulling for a gotcha
Starfield.
capsule, you know, the kind you can't get in games.
Yeah, I've got Starfield installed.
As for the result, I got a
course I have
5-star
Starfield
prize
installed.
in one go.
I just tested it
The top
a few hours ago.
prize. You simply don't understand.
Oh, you know what? I forgot to
In
connect
games,
the other
skill
camera.
is one thing, luck
let me
is
put the other
another.
camera
If
down
you want to
there.
win all the time, you need to have both. The former can be acquired through practice, but the latter depends on talent. The flow of luck in the parlor car is very favorable today. The best strategy is to pull for the desired target after confirming and canceling 3 times in a row.
Okay, I'm gonna try to put the camera, the other camera that I've got on the GPU. Where is that? Is that 4 camera? There it is. Okay. All right, there. That way we can see the graphics card. Is that better? Is that worse? Okay, anyway, that's the GPU. That's the GPU in the case. I have the side panel off so that it's easier to see. Oh, I bumped the camera. Hopefully I'll remember not to mess with that. The wire is kind of in the way. There. There it is, for those wondering. That is the 7800 XT from RK. I've got the other GPUs here behind me. So here is the 6800 XT. And then we have the Radeon 7 right here. And then the RTX 2080 Super from Asus with the GeForce RTX. I wish the GeForce RTX logo lit up on this card. When I first saw this card, I assumed that the logo would light up, but it doesn't light up, unfortunately. And then, probably one of the best 30 series AIB cards. This is the EVGA For the Win 3 edition. Actually, let me make this larger to see. Okay. So there is the 3080 GeForce. It's hard to see, but there we go. EVGA GeForce RTX 3080 For the Win 3 edition. This thing has a massive overclock from the factory on it because this GPU from EVGA, this 3080 10GB is nearly as fast as the 6900 XT and the 3080 Ti reference card. But it uses a lot of power. This thing is juiced up with triple 8-pin right there. 1, 2, 3. And it actually uses all 3 of them. I was looking at the GPU-Z. Actually, let me turn the music down. The music is probably way too loud. Okay. There we go. So, yeah, as I was saying, This card impressed me. You know, I've never had an EVGA card before, but now I can see why people compare EVGA to Sapphire, because Sapphire is very high quality, but EVGA, the For the Win 3 3080 is basically as fast as a reference 3080 Ti and a 6900 XT. Very impressive stuff. This thing did really good in the test. I have done all of the tests for the review, and I expect to have that review on the channel probably on Monday.
I hope everything works out as
Well, let me turn this music down. Let me make this smaller. But as you guys can see there on the left camera is the RX 7800 XT reference card. Hold on, is that taller than me? Alright, whatever, it's fine. Hey Ty, we're just talking about, so the 7800 XT, the review is coming soon. I've completed all the testing for the review, just the out-of-box experience. And I compared it with the graphics cards that are behind me, the ones I was just talking about.
Nice.
So Radeon 7, 2080 Super, 3080 For the Win 3, and the 6800 XT. So that video, I've done almost all of the recording of the video. I need to go in and do the post-edit. I need to use DaVinci Resolve to insert the gameplay footage of some of the games that I tested, and then I'll post it all together, render the video, and then upload it. It's probably going to be out on the channel on Monday, for those that are curious of when to expect the review. We will be doing some overclocking stuff as well, but that's going to be in separate content. I really just don't think that overclocking and undervolting should be part of the review, because most end users are going to buy a GPU, they're going to install it in their PC, and they're going to set it and forget it, and they're not going to mess with it. I think the amount of people that probably do look into overclocking is probably like less than 15% of the total gaming market. But I am going to address that in a future video. So there is more content on the way. I decided to do a Starfield video that's up on the channel today for the 7800 XT, just because that was one that a lot of people had been requesting, and I had omitted it from the list of other ones that I'd done previously. So I don't know what all this is about. Alright, so we are testing the 7800 XT, for those wondering. 7800 XT is rendering this game at 4K resolution. This is native resolution. Let's do the dailies, and then we'll move on to another game. Do you think the 4070 is at 550? I don't know. Like, see, the thing with the 4070 is it's been bad value since launch, but I really don't think it's... Here's the thing. Let me find it real quick. RTX 4070. So the 4070... You're saying it's 550. Is it really 550? What is that? The Opera browser, the upper browser opened up on my computer with a really loud sound. That was creepy. Hold on, let me find the
last line. More sugar intake needed. Time for some sweet tea.
RTX 4070. There is one from Gigabyte that's $550. But most of the ones that I'm seeing are still over 600. Here, I'll share my screen a little bit. I gotta zoom out of this. Why is this so big? But I still don't recommend it. Because, and there's a lot of reasons why. We'll get into that. But here, let me share my screen. What happened here? I am using a different computer. I'm using the system that I benchmarked the 7800 XT in. So, okay, so this is what I'm seeing. So there is a gigabyte for $550. The MSI is at MSRP. The Ventus. The Asus one is way overpriced. And then we've got MSRP for the dual. But the big ones are still... Okay, $20 over is not that much. And then you have the TIs. So in general, yeah, there are some of them, like the Zotac. This one's at $550. But the thing is, I still don't recommend it. Because if you go to... If you look at this card... This card's faster. This card's faster, and it's cheaper. So I still don't recommend it. And this card has 16 gigabytes of VRAM. The other one only has 12. So the 4070 at $550 has less RAM, and it's still more expensive. Some Abbeys, not all of them, yeah. Now that the RX 580 is $90, is it even worth looking at, or it's pretty much unusable? See, the problem with the 580 is actually still okay if you're gaming at 1080p. If you're going above 1080p, then no. See, the thing is, the 7800 XT is designed for 1440p. Like, if you don't have a 1440p monitor, like, if you're still on 1080p, then, I mean, you could get the 7800 XT for future-proofing, I guess, but realistically, the card's not intended for that resolution. So it's kind of overkill. That's why I'm saying the 580 is still okay for 1080p because it has 8 gigabytes of memory, but it's just so underpowered by today's standards that it's really not something that I would consider. Like, the thing is, the 7600 is so cheap, and this thing is significantly faster than the 580. See, look at that. This is like 270, and it has a triple fan. Here's one for, like, let's see. Yeah, they're typically around 270, 269 for them. Like, the one that I tested is this one. So I have a review on this. I don't know if you guys saw this earlier this year, back when the card launched. So the Phantom Gaming is probably the best one. But at the MSRP price, it is a pretty good deal. If you're on a 1080p monitor and you have no intention of upgrading to a higher resolution display in the near future. So that one is... This is significantly faster than the 580. Like, just to show that, if we go to... Is it even in here? Let's see, RX 580. Like, look at this. So the 580 is here. And the 7600... Alex with that sub. Thanks for subbing to the channel. So the RX 7600 is 112% faster than an RX 580. So keep that in mind. This card is 112% faster than a 580. So just that card alone is already so much faster than a 580 that if you're on a 1080p monitor, then this is fine. Like, this is a massive upgrade. Just to put things into perspective, guys, the 7600 is as fast as this card. This...
Time for some sweet tea.
Oh, let me make the thing bigger. Okay, there we go. This is a 2080 Super. A 2080 Super is as fast as a 7600. So think about that. That means if you're looking at if you're looking on the used market, if you're looking at 2080s used or 2080 Super used, if they're not less than $250, they're a ripoff because you shouldn't be spending more than $250 for a 2080 Super in 2023 as a used card. Like, at most, if I was gonna get a 2080 Super, I'd spend no more than like $200. max. That's like the most I would spend on a 2080 Super, because I could easily go and get a 7600 for a little bit more than that, and I'm getting a brand new card, and it has the full warranty, and it's newer, so it has like better support and longevity. See, so that's the reason why, if you're on a 1080p display, the 7600 is good enough. Now, if you're going to 1440p, then that's where I think the 7800 XT, this card, which is the one that we're going to be testing here in a little bit, is going to be worth a really good look at, because I think that this card is offering the best value for the 1440p market. So the 16 gigabytes of VRAM alone means that this card will not become RAM limited or memory limited in newer games 2, 3, 4 years from now. So, and you got to remember, like right now, the only advantage that the 4070 has is in DLSS 3.0. But FSR 3 is already roadmapped. And FSR 3, the full FSR 3, where you can actually turn it on for all games, but that remains to be seen, like how hit or miss that'll be. That's coming next year. So in terms of feature parity, they're almost exactly the same, especially in the long run. So if you're buying one of these for like you're keeping it for 3 to 5 years, because that's typically the life cycle of a GPU, then in my mind, if it was my money, I would get a 7800 XT over a 4070. It's going to be cheaper, or if you opt for an AIB, you could get a much nicer cooler, and the card will perform even better. So there isn't really any way for the 4070 to match the 7800 XT in like pure rasterization performance. And honestly, the reality is most games are not going to feature this, not necessarily upscalers, but like frame generation. That's a newer technology. Now, it will become more relevant over time, but as of right now, most games don't feature it. So, like, Lies of P is a new game, doesn't have it. Armored Core doesn't have it. You know, there's like a whole bunch of games. Starfield. I mean, Starfield's a little modded in there. But what I'm saying is most games don't have it. Most MMOs don't have it. You know, like, it's not a thing that's a standard feature in most games. So, it could, wait, what are you asking? Have you benchmarked them on Cinebench 2024 yet? Just noticed that they had a GPU benchmark. I have not. So I have already done all the testing for the review that will go live later, a couple days from now. I only tested games for that, but I will do future videos. I might look at Cinebench in a future video. You should list in the Discord your live stream. Oh. Okay. Yeah, you're right. I should do that. I have a really bad habit of not doing that. Hold on. Let me pull that up real quick. Hold on. Let me... Okay. Let me put it in. I'll just throw it in there. General. Should I just put it in the general? I'm just going to put it in the general. There. It's in there. Okay, so... what was I gonna do? Well, we're gonna test a bunch of games. But that's my answer there. Like, I don't think the 4070 is offering good value, considering how well it does against the previous cards. So, like, for example, if you look at the 3080, where's the 4070? The 4070 is actually weaker than the 3080. See? So, the thing is... It makes for a bad look. You know what I'm saying? Like, who wants to buy a 3080, have it fail, and then RMA it, and then MSI sends you a 4070? It's like, some people might be okay with that, but others won't like that. Because there's something about the 3080 that just seems to carry more prestige than a 4070. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you tell someone you bought a 4070,
Trigram on both ends.
especially if they're like a tech enthusiast, you know, that's you know what I'm saying. It's kind of like that's kind of like telling somebody that you bought like a used Honda Civic from like 1995. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't carry a lot of prestige. If you tell someone you bought a 3080 or you've got a 3080, that's like telling someone that you have like a brand, well, like a 3-year-old or 4-year-old Toyota Camry or something. You know what I'm saying? It's like a, you know, like a generic car that like everyone else got. It carries more weight than telling someone you bought a 4070. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So if you have to RMA your 3080, most likely the vendor is gonna send you a 4070. and some people are not gonna like that. Some people will be okay with that because you get frame generation, because you know you get frame generation, but it's like it's still not better. So I don't know. Do you think the 7800 XT is worth to buy if you do not plan to buy a new card like in 3 years? Yes, that's what I said at the very beginning of the stream. The 7800 XT is the best value card for 1440p, like hands down. And my review will show that. Like I've done the whole review. I just need to do the post edit. I need to add some gameplay footage into parts of the benchmark list, and then I will have the video on the channel soon. But yeah, the 7800 XT is actually near perfect. It is nearly a perfect card for 1440p. Like 1440p is where that card like sits. It's literally at the center of the 1440p space. Yes, it can do 4K. Yes, it can do 1080p. Is it designed to do that? No. Can it do 1080p? Yes. It can make everything else that is actually designed to do 1080p look like trash. And then if you run it at 4K, which we are going to test on this stream, I'm actually going to be doing all the tests at 4K on this card, because all the 1440p results will be in the review. So we're going to test 4K on stream, because it's not designed to do 4K, but it's going to flex, and it's going to show that it can actually do 4K. Not as good as a more expensive card, but remember, it's not designed for the 4K market. But the fact that you can actually game at 4K with this card and not heat up your entire room is actually pretty exceptional. So you should have waited for the 7800 XT, but you don't regret. Ty, were you the one that ended up getting the 6900? Or what did you end up getting? Somebody on the channel... Oh, you got the 7600. Well, no, that's... Oh, no, you didn't get the 7600. What? You got the 6900... 6950? I forgot what you got. Oh, you got... Oh, you're the one that got the Nitro. I think I'm thinking of somebody else. There's someone else I know that was watching one of the live streams that ended up getting a 6950 XT. From Micro Center. I forgot who that was, though. Okay, well, the thing is... Here's the thing. Do you game at 1440p? If you game at 1440p, yeah, you could have saved money with the 7800 XT. But if you're gaming at 4K, then the XTX Nitro is the way to go. Like, ultimately, that's going to be the better choice for the long term. For 4K. Specifically for 4K, because that card was actually designed for 4K. That's the reason why it has 24 gigabytes of VRAM.
Huh?
Let's see. But will it be in the middle for future UE5 games for 1440p? Well, that's the thing, right? Like, technology is always improving. You can't always be the best forever. But the thing is, as it is now, this card will be the best value 1440p card probably for the next 2 years. I can't really see a better option showing up. At least not next year, because next year is going to be... So the tail end of next year is going to be the refresh or the new generation for the 4K market. So 5090, 5080, whatever AMD's ones, if they're going to call them the 80... I think they're going to skip 8000. I think AMD might do 9000. So they might go to the 90... You know, the 9900 XTX or whatever they end up calling it. That's going to be weird to say. But whatever the AMD and the NVIDIA flagships end up being next year, those will come out next year. But again, those are going to be extremely expensive products. The NVIDIA card is probably going to be $2,000. The AMD card is probably going to be like $1,200 or $1,100 or something like that. So, or whatever it ends up being, right? Like maybe they won't change because the market is kind of stagnant right now. But the reality is the 1440p market won't change for the next 18 or so months. Or maybe even like 2 years. Who knows? It could be a good 2 years. Because think about when the 6800 XT came out. The 6800 XT was November 2020. And the 7800 XT was like August 2023. So that's like 3 years apart. Almost. See? So that's why I'm saying like a good 24 months from now, you can bet on the 7800 XT having a lot of staying power in terms of the value for the 1440p market. Modern games are starting to show its age. For what? For the 6800? Oh, you game at this. Oh, well, yeah, the 6800, but it's still good though. It's still able to do everything that you need it to do at 1440p for the most part. See, so it's not like you have to upgrade. See, what I'm noticing is the only people that really need to upgrade are the people who are on the previous generation. So think of like the RTX 2080 or the Radeon 7. That is the reason why I wanted to test. That's the reason why I wanted to test this card in particular. The Radeon 7. I wanted to test the Radeon 7 against the 7800 XT because this represents who I believe is the target buyer to that the actual eligible gamer to upgrade to a 7800 XT. This and the 2080 or the 2080 Super. Basically, if you're on a 2080 or a 2070 or a Super, whatever, or a Radeon 7 or a 5700 XT, you are the actual intended buyer for the 7800 XT. Not somebody who is on a 30 series, not somebody who is on a 6000 series. I think anyone who's on a 6800 XT or a 3080 can probably sit this entire generation out and they can wait until the next generation. Because I don't really see a significant uplift in performance unless you're on a much weaker graphics card like a 3060 or a 3060 Ti or a, you know, like a 6600 XT or a 6700 XT. Only then can you consider the 7800 XT, because if you're already on like a 3080, yeah, if you upgrade to a 7800 XT, it's more like a side grade. You're basically increasing your VRAM and you're getting like about 10% better performance on average at best, you know, realistically. So unless you go to like an AIB 7800 XT, which is overclocked like a Nitro or something, and then it'll probably be more like 12 to 15% faster. But still, I can't really justify spending $500 just to gain like 12%. You know what I'm saying? Like that to me, even though it has way more VRAM than a 3080, I would still probably sit this one out. The only other advantage is the power consumption, because the 7800 XT uses significantly less power than a 3080. And you guys will see that in the review. Oh yeah, AV1, of course. AV1's in there as well. The first 7nm GPU. Yeah, the first 7nm GPU. You're right. You called it out. It is what it is. Radeon 7. The world's first 7nm GPU. Probably almost... This is also, in my mind, kind of the most underwhelming AMD product ever. It has such a nice looking design for a reference design, but what AMD really did wrong is they really should have allowed AIBs to make custom variants of the Radeon 7, because this card is terribly loud, and the cooler on here is just not adequate for the 275 to 300 watt TDP of this card. So it's like, yeah, it's very disappointing. 16 gigabytes of HBM2 memory, though, is nothing to laugh at. It has an excellent amount of VRAM for a card that released in 2019 for $700. So, but I think that anybody who's on this, the 7800 XT is a massive upgrade over this. Like, you know, we're talking like more than 90% improvement if you go from a Radeon 7 to a 7800 XT. We're talking like 100% uplift. So massive upgrade, and you're paying less money too, because that thing was $700. Even overclocking it could paperweight it. Oh yeah, because the HBM was so fragile. Yep, code 43. Code 43. I know all about code 43.
Third to last line.
Yeah. the Radeon 7 and the infamous code 43. Yeah. Those were the days. Those were the good old days of the Radeon 7 and the code 43. You wonder when the AV1 will kick in for all platforms. So yeah, that's the thing, because AV1 needs to go to all of the streaming sites, like pretty much all of them. Twitch desperately needs it, probably more than anything else in my mind. At the very least, Twitch really should just roll it out, because I don't know what the deal is, why they don't do it. I think the problem with Twitch is they don't have the server infrastructure, and I don't understand why they don't have this at this point. They don't have the server infrastructure to take an AV1 encoded live stream and transcode it out to the viewers in a viewable codec, because the reality is, if you, like, the reason why they don't do AV1 is, like, let's say I stream to Twitch in AV1, and they take my stream and all they do is send it out to the viewers. The problem is, if the viewers do not have hardware that can decode AV1, meaning if they do not have a Radeon 6000 series GPU or an RTX 30 series GPU or newer, or they have like some kind of integrated solution like their smartphone can do it or whatever, if they don't have that, then they can't watch the video. Or if they do the CPU, if they use the CPU to decode the AV1, their CPU will be pegged at like 100%. If it's like a cell phone, the battery will burn down in like minutes. So that's the reason why they don't do AV1. It has nothing to do with the servers themselves. It has to do with the way that their content delivery network is set up to transcode the video into something that the users can watch. For whatever reason, I don't know why this is, but Twitch does not have the infrastructure to take an AV1 stream and turn it into something that's viewable by the general public. Because the vast majority of the general public cannot actually watch AV1 because they don't have modern hardware that can decode AV1. To decode AV1, you have to have RTX 30 series or 40 series, or you have to have RDNA 2 or 3, meaning, you know, 6800 XT, 7800 XT, etc. Or you have to have the latest Radeon integrated, so 68 or 680M, 780M. The Intel, I forgot what the Intel one was, but yeah, like the Intel Arc GPUs, they can decode AV1. See, unless you have those specific small set criteria of hardware, you can't actually watch AV1, or at least you can't do it without like destroying your CPU. And if you're on a laptop, rip to your battery life, you know, if you're trying to play back an AV1 video and you don't actually have AV1 decode capable hardware. So that's the reason why they don't do it. They don't do it because they don't want to deal with viewers or you know, the end customers complaining about, like, why is it that when I start watching my favorite streamer recently, like, my battery on my cell phone dies within 1 hour, or my laptop, like, you know, the battery drains in like 30 minutes. So what's going on? It wasn't like this before. Well, it's because their favorite streamer decided to start streaming in AV1, and Twitch is like, okay, let's just play it back in AV1. So they don't have the setup. They just don't have the setup right now. I'm sure they're working on something, but they just don't have anything today for that. Hey, Matt. Twitch just isn't profitable in 2023? Is Twitch falling apart? Because, like, maybe they do need to crash and burn. Maybe they have to crash and burn. I don't know. So someone can, like, replace them. I see you have the 700 XT on the ASRock Steel Legend. How is the Steel Legend doing it for you? Yeah, I did all my testing on the Steel Legend. So this is... So what you guys see here is... let me go ahead and expand this. This is the platform that did all the tests. You can see that's the 700 XT reference card. That's why Kick is getting big. Is it actually really growing, though? But yeah, like the... Let me make myself larger too here. So that is the platform that I did all the tests on. So yesterday I did all the tests for the 2080 Super from Asus. This is another card that was loaned out by RK, so props to RK. So I did 2080 Super first, so to get this one out of the way. So all the testing for this card was completed yesterday. And then I did test the Radeon 7. I did all the tests for the Radeon 7 yesterday as well to get this one out of the way. Because, like I said in the beginning, and maybe some people who just joined in a few seconds ago, I do really think that the best intended purchase is someone who is on a 2080 or a 2080 Super or even a 2080 Ti or a Radeon 7 or a 5700 XT. Anyone who is on those 4 GPUs or anything weaker than those 4 GPUs that I just mentioned, they will benefit immensely by upgrading to a 7800 XT. You're getting more VRAM, except unless you're on this, because this had 16. But anyone else, you're typically on 8, and you're going from 8 to 8 or, you know, like 8 or 11 or whatever, to 16. And for 1440p, that's perfect. That's like a perfect amount of RAM for that resolution. So I also did test the EVGA for the Win 3. This is a heavy card. This is a thick card. Triple 8-pin on here. This thing is just about as fast as my Founders Edition 3080 Ti. Like, this massive 3080 with a huge overclock, this thing pulls 370 watts. 370 to 380 watts with spikes over 420 watts on this EVGA for the Win 3 3080. This thing it's a beast. It uses so much electricity. But man, when I was benchmarking this card yesterday, I was shocked at some of the numbers that I was seeing coming out of this card. Like I did do 2 of the tests incorrectly. So, you know, I accidentally tested with FSR on 2 of the games. So I was getting 1080p resolution results instead of 1440p resolution results on 2 of my tests. So I had to retest them. But I remember, like, when I first saw the numbers, I was like, wait a minute. The 3080 overclocked is, like, that fast at 1440p? Something doesn't seem right about this. Like, this thing's cheating. This thing's, like, what's going on here? So, but yeah, the 3080 from EVGA... for those wondering, I have never owned an EVGA graphics card before, but having tested this card, now I'm really sad that EVGA is gone, because this thing was a beast. This card, it was awesome. It also had the RGB bar down here that actually lights up the RTX GeForce logo. I don't know why so few AIBs refuse to illuminate the GeForce RTX or even the Radeon logo. I mean, they would sell so many more cards over their peers if they simply did that. I'm straight up, seriously. Like, if they illuminate the secret weapon for any AIB listening to the stream, for your next GPU, make sure if you manufacture a Radeon custom AIB card or a GeForce custom AIB card, make sure you illuminate the Radeon or GeForce logo next time. You will literally increase your sales by at least 15 to 25% just by doing that. Just by putting RGB on the actual logo. Not your logo, so not your Strix or your WindForce or Nitro or whatever the XFX one is. Like, no one wants to see that. Just give me GeForce RTX or Radeon. I want to see Radeon illuminated and GeForce RTX illuminated. I don't want to see Zotac Gaming, Phantom Gaming, XYZ Gaming. I don't care. I don't want to see any of that stuff. You can turn that RGB off. Give me the actual logo that actually matters. So, straight up. Like, that's all I have to say on that. That's my biggest pet peeve of the AMD reference card. So you guys can see the AMD reference card there. Notice how the Radeon logo doesn't even light up. Why is it that even AMD failed to illuminate the Radeon logo? Like, apparently Sapphire is the only one that got the memo and remembered to release a version of the card that has a Radeon logo with RGB. Because nobody else remembered to do that, including AMD themselves. So, yeah. The iPhone 15 Pro family has AV1 hardware decode. Yeah, so the new phones can do it. But, you know, like, the vast majority of people aren't going to be on new hardware anytime soon, right? Like, there's a ramp-up time, there's an adoption rate for these newer technologies. Oh, wait, Kick allows AV1? I didn't know Kick allows AV1. I might have to actually check that out.
The third to last line says, today is a good day for public service and overtime.
Actually, what's the... Here, I'll just... I think I was covering up the chat. so the chat's supposed to show up on the screen, but I think I made the thing large enough. So anyway, I did all the testing for all the GPUs. The last other GPU that I tested was the 6800 XT, so it's the OG reference from AMD. This one I had to borrow from somebody else. I actually had to trade them my 6900 XT for their 6800 XT. So talk about a ripoff. But for me, you know, like, I just downgraded myself to a 6800 XT just to make this video. But anyway, more on that later. So the 6800 XT, I'm impressed by how well that card does as well. That and the 3080, those two cards have a lot of muscle. They brute force their way through a lot. They're not these skinny, you know, like lean 4-cylinder engines. No, those things have like V6 engines in them. The 4070 by comparison is like a 4-cylinder or a 3-cylinder. That thing's weak. Especially as you go up the resolution stack. But yeah, to answer your question, RK, about the Steel Legend. The Steel Legend's fine. I mean, I've been using it since I got it with the 7950X 3D, and it works great, so... I've got the Thunderbolt card in there, so I've got Thunderbolt on my AMD platform.
Want to try a cup of 90% concentrated?
But I didn't know that Kick does AV1, though. That's cool. But you know what? Like, I feel like if these websites adopted HEVC, it would be fine, because HEVC is pretty much the same as AV1. But they refuse to pay the licensing fees, I guess. I mean, that's all the reason not to adopt something is if you don't want to pay the licensing fee. So that's probably why it is the way it is. Which is unfortunate, because I think HEVC has been around for a long time, and it works really well on a lot of systems, on a lot of hardware. That was weird. That was the weirdest dialogue in a quest I've ever seen in a while. Okay, well, anyway, well, let's finish this Star Rail stuff, and then we'll move on to the next game. But we're going to be testing 4K specifically, not 1440. Because 1440 is going to be in the review. Here, we'll do this. These people are not the right ones for this. I think these guys are. H266 will be auto
The strength.
before everyone supports AV1.
Blood cleansing track.
I guess. But it depends on how the licensing is going to be for that, because if HEVC has taught us anything, like, if you do your licensing model in a way that nobody likes it, you'll basically never get full adoption. Unless you're Apple, or I guess Blackmagic Design, because they have the licenses for H265, and H.265 works really, really good on their platforms.
World cleansing dragon.
So obviously, this game, it can be ran at 4K max settings on the 7800 XT just fine. Let's see what else we have to do here. Synthesize one material? Complete Forgotten Hall? No, we'll just synthesize one material. There. And we're done. Now, the only thing left that I need to do is I need to spend down the resources, I guess. Actually, we should probably do this. I do need to do this thing. I have to do my weekly thing. We'll do this next. I'll try to rush through this as fast as I can. How many points do I need? I need 14,000. This game kind of has like an interesting look. It's kind of like, it doesn't look like Baldur's Gate, but it has kind of the lore behind some of the imagery makes me think of that game. All right, we're gonna do difficulty level 3. So we're gonna bring Clara, the new tank, Fushuan, and Kafka, and I guess this guy, because he's broken. And we'll use Elation, I guess. We'll use this one. Alright, after this, I'll test Starfield, and then after Starfield, I'll probably test Lies of P, and then we'll just go from there. We'll just go down the list. I mean, or maybe I'll just do Last of Us and Hogwarts Legacy. I'll probably do those first, or I'll do those next after this. Even though they're going to be in the review, I'll just do them at 4K. Because the 4K won't show the results.
Does that hurt?
I mean, the review will show the 1440p results, not the 4K results. Matt wants to see Hogwarts Legacy. Okay, we'll look at Hogwarts Legacy next. And then Last of Us. Okay, well, okay, RT, I'll have to restart the game, but yeah. Actually, what I'll probably do for RT, like, I'll probably do a separate video dedicated to looking at ray tracing on the 7800 XT. I did test Quake 2. Quake 2 RTX is in the review at 1440p with global illumination set to low for all of them. But I only tested GI low for all of them. That way, the 2080 was actually able to do stuff, and the 3080 looked incredible when you set GI to low. But yeah, those are the results that I decided to go with. Wait, I have to lose? Fight for the 0.63% chance? Or lose 100 fragments? No, I mean... whatever. How hard can this possibly be? Oh, this is not even hard. Whatever. He'll just destroy them. He'll just destroy them in one hit. See? He'll just... Oh, wait. Oh, there's more.
World cleansing dragon.
Yeah, one thing I noticed, though, when I was testing these cards, the older games are fine. Like, the old graphics cards do okay in the older games. But the older graphics cards, like the 2080 and the Radeon 7, those cards really struggle with the games that came out this year. So, when I was looking at the results, you know, I was thinking, maybe this is the reason why everybody's complaining every time a new game comes out this year. Because they're probably on like a 2080 or a 5700 XT or something, or a 2070 or something even worse. And that's probably why there are all these complaints about, poor optimization or the game's not optimized, you know? Because if you're on a newer card, you don't have any of these problems. If you're on an older card from like 4 or 5 years ago, because we're what, 2023? So 4 years ago is like 2019. So yeah, if you're like on a 4-year-old Super or a Radeon 7 or a 5700 series or what, something like that, or something older, yeah, you're gonna have a hard time obtaining a 2-star blessing. Let's take a 3-star here. At the start of battle, this is not good. I guess we'll deal with this one. I hope I don't... Oh, I got one of these. Sensory Pursuit. To the target. No, let's get this one first, and we'll get Sensory next. Just upgrade your PC to... Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It made me think... Okay, that's why Todd Howard's like... Just upgrade, guys. It's easy. Just upgrade. that's why he said that. It makes sense. I understand where he's coming from now. I hope I don't die because I brought everybody down to like 20% HP and we have no healer. Except for Pink Hair Girl. She's the only one that can like heal herself. We need Dan Hung to use his spiritual energy to basically crush all these enemies before they get a chance to retaliate.
Boom. Human creations. Stand still.
Man, they just spam all their moves. And they got away with it too. No healer and we got through it. Okay, that's cool. I'll just grab this one in the middle. That's good. Things are going the way they're supposed to right now. This is not what I wanted, but whatever. Alright, for the boss fight, he is weak to physical, electricity, and imaginary damage. So I need to bring... First of all, I need to get an actual healer, because I don't have one. And we're all straight up... The characters are all dying without one, so let's get the healer. You heard him say that and realized the problem was the 1050... Yeah, that's... the 1050 is going to be a problem there. Yeah. Because I really think all the newer games are the ones that show the problem with the older cards. Just take that one. You would say anything below 3080 or CC800 is not going to be a good experience in Starfield. It depends on what resolution, though. If you're at 1080p, if you're on 1080p, if you're on an AMD card, 1080p is okay for a lot of AMD cards. For the NVIDIA cards, you basically have to step up like a whole tier above the equivalent AMD. So what that means is like if you're on a 6700 XT for AMD, if you want to get the equivalent experience in Starfield, you'd have to step up to the next, like a 3070 Ti to have the same kind of experience. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of weird like that. The game just, I don't know, the thing that I noticed, and you'll see this in the review, the RDNA 3 cards are the only cards that run Starfield the way that you would expect that tier of graphics card to run. So like, for example, the XTX, it runs Starfield at 4K at acceptable frame rates. Why is it raining inside a spaceship?
Old friends.
That's weird. It's literally raining in a spaceship. The 7800 XT runs the game at 1440p, as you would expect the game to perform at 1440p Ultra. And then the 7600 runs the game at 1080p, although the 7600 is the one that I feel is a little kind of weak. Maybe the 7700 would be a lot better. a good CPU helps Starfield because of the amount of NPCs in the cities. Yeah, but the thing is, see, I've tested Starfield in the city and outside the city, and when you run into a GPU bottleneck, it is way more noticeable than a CPU bottleneck in Starfield. Like, because I've only tested Starfield on relatively modern CPUs. The oldest CPU that I tested Starfield on was a Threadripper 2950X, and that one was the only one that did show signs of a CPU potential, like the CPU actually being the reason why the frames weren't that great in the city. But like if you're on a Zen 3, so if you're on like a 5800X, because I tested 5800X, and the 5800X had no problem with like NPCs in the city in multiple locations. It was really only when you go down to like a CPU that's older than Zen 2. So like Zen or Zen Plus or Intel Skylake or Intel Coffee Lake, those CPUs were the ones that tended to show a potential CPU bottleneck. But anything newer than those, like Zen 3, Zen 4, I mean even Zen 2 was okay. And then like the all the Intel like 13, 12, 11, 10, they didn't really have that much of a problem running the game. Can't wait to see FSR 3 and Starfield. Yeah, the frame generation stuff, I was kind of skeptical about frame generation because when it first came out with Nvidia stuff last year, it was kind of hit or miss in some of the games like Microsoft Flight Simulator. When it first came out, it had like artifacts in the imagery, but since then it's gotten a lot better. So I feel like the AMD implementation is probably going to have to go through the same growing pains, especially if they open up the driver to be able to turn it on for like games that were never designed for frame generation, because that's the huge thing that they talked about last, you know, like with the product reveal at Gamescom when they revealed the 7800 XT and the 7700 XT. They talked about that. A good CPU helps Starfield because, yeah. What is going on here? I guess we're just gonna fight both of them? Hopefully I don't end up dead because I did that. Oh wow, none of these enemies are weak to these guys. This is gonna be bad. Clara's the only one. How is it that I don't have anything that they're weak to? Except Clara. That blue guy, he's strong against all four of these characters. Oh wait, never mind. Actually, the tank girl does have elemental advantage, but she doesn't even attack, so. Their claim of millions of games support needs a little more. Well, the thing is, they're just gonna turn it on the driver, just like it's gonna be like RSR. I have a feeling modern games will handle it better than older games. I expect there to be a lot of weird issues with the older games trying to run frame generation. But the good news is the older games don't really need frame generation because they're not as hard to run. So if you look at it that way, then it shouldn't be a problem. The enemy has a high chance of becoming frozen every 6 attacks it receives. I mean, whatever, just take this one, I guess. The problem is the problem with choosing those is I didn't get my thing that I'm supposed to be good with. I'm supposed to be getting elation abilities, and I didn't really see any of them. Okay, so this guy's gonna be pretty strong. This is a strong man. So when you bring a strongman in here, you gotta bring a effeminate man in here too, with long hair, so that we can defeat him. Alright, we gotta go defense up, and Clara is just gonna shoot him with a cannon. Actually do this. Summon the robot from Lies of P and just blast this guy with a beam cannon. Yeah.
Repay. World cleansing dragon.
This game's coming to PlayStation 5 in like what, a few weeks or so? So, man, I don't understand what's wrong with Xbox. Did you guys know there was all those leaks about Xbox recently in the news? And I don't know. They're talking about like buying Nintendo. And why are you thinking of buying Nintendo? Like just because they don't. I don't know. Like Xbox is really struggling to stay relevant. I feel like they're the ones that are having a hard time staying relevant. Mainly because, well, Game Pass is really good, but from a hardware perspective, I think Xbox is the one that is really struggling to find relevancy with the way computer hardware advances so quickly. And I don't even think it's computer hardware. It's really the fact that Xbox just doesn't have the exclusivity that PlayStation and Nintendo enjoy. You know, we talked a lot about PlayStation exclusives on the weekly live stream back on Thursday. The LSS 3.5 showing good progress. Is it that glitchy in 4K or just the live stream? Is the live streaming? The live stream shouldn't be in 4K. Is it in 4K? No, the live stream is a 1440p live stream. I can't find the thing. When a character is hit or have their HP lowered, they gain fighting stacks. When a character, they are considered to have extra stacks. I guess we'll just do this one. Just take that one. The game pausing? No, the game shouldn't be pausing. Man, I keep getting things that I don't really want. I'm trying to get one of... Ooh, I did get a Quantum, but it is a 3-star. Ideally, what I want is something that says Quantum, but it needs to be a 5-star. Hold on, let me check. Let me check if I have, like, packets dropping on my internet or something. No. No, it doesn't look like I'm dropping any packets or frames. Okay, for this fight, I need... Okay, I got a tank, I got a healer. I have 2 DPS. I have a pseudo tank / DPS. I don't know who am I gonna actually leave out of this. Probably Dan Hung. So I guess I'm gonna bring. Who's my primary damage dealer in this fight? I guess I could bring this guy. No, where is he? I guess I could bring him. See if I can get the final tier. Are we doing transaction? I don't really have much resources to trade. Okay, I've got 50. I can buy a 1 to 3 star for 100. Okay, we'll get this one. Try another transaction. I really don't have any resources though. I guess I should have checked. I should have chose the battle. Oh wait, We can get a 3-star, but then we'll start the battle with no HP. We'll take this one. Oh, I should have chose the advance forward. Oh well. Then we can heal up. And then the boss is about to show up. So I gotta think this through. Who do I want to bring to this fight? I think we'll keep Fushuan, Lucia, and then I'll bring Kafka and Clara. Yeah, I'll bring Kafka and Clara to the fight. So we're gonna do this. I need to put move her over here. Or actually, yeah, she'll stay in the front, and then Clara. And then Lucia can heal, and we'll bring Kafka. She'll be in the back. Okay. I don't have any resources to upgrade anything.
High threat target ahead.
Hold on, I'm noticing my stream like drops in the amount of packets that I'm sending. Let's see. Yeah, for some reason I can see the bandwidth dropping like dramatically for some reason. Like it's very bursty. Let me see here. I'm not dropping pings though.
High threat target ahead.
Okay, we're gonna try this with just these 3 or these 4.
Let's wait and see.
Does that hurt?
Repay. On my command.
Alright, well, I might try changing some settings. Well, no, there's nothing to change. I think, I need to check why my internet is, like... Why is the bandwidth jumping around so much? Because I'm specifying constant bitrate, but I see it jump all over the place in terms of the amount of data that it's sending. And I don't really know why it's doing that. It's like it's buffering. It's like there's internet. It's like the packets are buffering for some reason. Yeah, I can see it. I can see it dropping. I might have to like reopen OBS. I don't know if it's OBS or if it's something happening on the network side, but I can see like the amount of data sending drops like down, and then it goes way up and it drops down.
Stand still.
So there's something weird going on. And that's why you guys are seeing that. Yeah, I can see it happening here. Well, let me see if I can fix it by just. Okay, I stopped it and restarted it. So maybe that fixes it. I don't know. I did not close OBS, but I stopped and restarted, and so far the bandwidth, the sending data looks consistent now. So you may have to refresh the stream. But I think we should be good now. I mean, it looks better than it did. Man, that was over really fast, too. That went over really quick. And I did not get the thing that I was looking for. Okay, I still need to do another run. But I can do that later. I can do that tomorrow. So let's move to a different game. Actually, let me spend the stamina down. Let's go fight some weekly bosses. This won't take long. Let's see which one do I want to fight? Probably her. Is Fushuan good in this fight? I'm gonna try Fushuan. If I fail, I'm gonna be really sad. But let's bring Blade. Should probably start the fight at 100% HP. Lucia and Kafka. Oh, I need to heal him. Why is he... Blade's almost dead. I think that fixed it. I don't know why it was doing that. It was like, I would look at the amount of data being sent, and it would go from like 0, sending nothing, to sending 10 kilobits per second. Then it would, or 10,000, I guess, 10,000 kilobits per second. Then it would go to 0, then it would go to 10, then it would go to 0, then it would go to 10, then it would go to like 3, then it would go to 10. It was jumping around way too much. There's way too much buffering happening for some reason. I don't know why it was doing that, but anyway. Stopping and restarting seemed to have fixed that. Alright, so we're gonna let this boss fight play through.
Your end approaches.
Stand still. Time to say bye. Boom.
I really think that this game is gonna win best, like, mobile game of the year. I can't see any other game beating Star Rail for best mobile game of the year. Like, I don't know what you call this category, because this is a mobile game, but it is also a like, you can play it on PC, like the way I'm playing it right now. And I'm playing it natively on PC. I'm not playing it through an Android emulator or anything like that. I'm just straight up playing the game on a Windows client. Yeah, no, it was something on the internet side. It was a network side problem. There was too much frame buffering that was happening on the ISP side, on the routing side.
Savor it for me.
But I can't imagine any other game beating this game for, like, best new mobile game or best gacha game.
Stand still.
Because I think this is the best one. And that's saying a lot, because I don't play a lot of these type of games. I mean, I know people who play a lot of gacha games. And the most I play is no more than 2. In fact, I want to quit Genshin Impact for a while and have this game be the only gacha game that I play for probably the next, like, 3 to 6 months. And then eventually go back to Genshin. But Genshin, honestly, is just really not that interesting right now. It's a good game, but it's just not in style right now, I guess. I don't know how else to put that.
Time to say bye.
I love that this game can literally play itself. Like, I can be doing other things while the game is just, like, the AI is doing everything for me. Yeah, that's cool. Man, that tank girl, she has a self-heal? She just healed herself.
Stand still.
Receive divinity.
Every time Lucia's like, receive divinity, the debuff gets removed. The boss is probably so frustrated. Like, nothing's working. What's going on? Wait, what? How did she die? That's not good. We lost the tank. I might actually fail the fight now. I might fail the fight because usually if things go south, I can still survive if one of my DPS dies and my tank is still alive. But if I lose my tank, I'm not exactly sure how we're gonna get through phase 3. So this might actually be a wipe. Oh, that's funny. You guys can't even see the tank girl because the Radeon 70 this card covers it. You can't even see it. You just have to put it like here or something. Whatever, just leave it in the corner. We're gonna switch games soon anyway. Yeah, I think I'm gonna fail. We're not even phase 3, and I've already lost one of my 4 party members. You said this would be easy. Well, I've never used Fushuan in this fight before, that's why. I usually bring Japard, because I know he can tank. I underestimated her ability, or I overestimated her ability to tank, apparently. Well, we're going to phase 3, but I don't know if we'll be able to get out of phase 3, or get through phase 3. Yeah, okay, yeah, this is a wipe. We're down to 2 party members, no healer, no tank. The green guy literally, like, self-damages himself. This is, yeah, okay.
Savor it for me.
Let's see how far he can get. Okay, goodbye, Blade. Alright. Oh, that wasn't good. Okay. So, yeah, she is not ready. I heard from the other diviners that the shop is quite popular amongst other. Have you been to it? What? I've never been. Wait, what? I've never been there. Or wait, I've been there? It's not that reliable? I don't know. I've never been there. You think the 7800 could handle 4K 60 streams to encode with 0 frame skips? Yeah, it can. It can, but realistically, if you're trying to encode 4K 60, you can't use the maximum preset for the 4K stream. You have to use the second highest one. So, this isn't a 4K stream, by the way. This is a 1440p stream. Now, what this is a... The game is 4K, so the actual internal resolution is 4K, but I'm downscaling it to 1440p to upload to the internet. Otherwise, the amount of bandwidth that I would need for 4K, I would need way more bandwidth for 4K. So I have to push a lot more bandwidth through my ISP to do that. I don't know what she's saying. It was I who personally drove her out of the divination commission. What is going on here? This is too ridiculous. But going back to what you were saying about the encoding engine. So the encoding engine on all the RDNA 3 GPUs is exactly the same. So it's like the 7600, the 7800, 7700, all of them, 7900 even, XTX, all of them have the exact same media engine. So if one of them can encode 4K, all of them can encode 4K. There's no difference. It's the same little ASIC that they solder onto the chip on all of them. I don't see why it would be different. Because what's different is going to be the stream processor count. Not the media engine. Okay, anyway, we need to fix the party. This is not... Let's just do this again, I guess. Or I could fight something easier. This fight's annoying. To do this, we're going to remove her. because she proved that she's not prepared. So we're gonna bring him, and I guess these 4.
Is that all?
Because he has big shields, that's why. Just gonna use his massive shields to prevent death. Although sometimes Kafka ends up dying, but that's okay. Why is your opponent's HP so low? Well, he has high defense, so it doesn't matter. I should have been kind of backseat driving earlier. That's the reason why I died. Because I noticed the computer let themselves get hit when they could have shielded themselves before that, but they didn't. So maybe the reason why Fushuan died was not because of the boss, because the AI controlling my party is terrible at this game.
Time to say bye. Boom.
Okay, the fact that he can freeze her, the fact that Japard is able to freeze the boss, that's hilarious. That actually helps a lot. So they're just gonna spam all their moves.
Stand still.
Will forged in ice. Never falter.
The good thing about my characters, the ones that are attacking, is they do splash damage, so they hit the adjacent enemies, not just the one they're attacking. See, like, he just hit those 2 flowers. And then this guy does his thing, and I want her to do her thing. Am I even targeting him?
Time to
There we
say
go.
bye. Boom. Stand still.
Alright, phase 2.
Savor it for me.
You gotta really spam those buttons. This AI doesn't want to do the right thing.
Received divinity. The dead return.
A will forged in ice. Never falter.
Time to say bye. Boom.
Alright, I think that... Once this is done, we'll probably just go ahead and move to a different game. Let me see what I've got on here. So, Hogwarts Legacy. We'll do Hogwarts Legacy next.
Received divinity.
And then
Dead return.
we'll look at probably Starfield, The Last of Us Part 1. We'll only do the modern games. We're not going to look at some older games on stream. I don't think there's any reason to do that. Oh, wow, wow, wow. What happened here? Whoa.
Will forged in ice. Never falter.
Put that shield up quick.
Time to say bye. Boom.
Okay, final phase. This is it.
The dead return.
I might have to drive this manually, because depending on what the computer decides to do. I like how even when you have the game in auto mode, you can still issue commands. Like, you can still force the computer, you can force your character to use their ult if it's available, even if the AI is controlling them.
Time to say
You can basically override the AI. So I like that this game allows you to do that. You don't have to turn off the AI just to issue a command to use the ult. I feel like whoever designed this game, they really have a good understanding of what makes a game fun, and also how to automate a game without destroying the gameplay.
A will forged in ice never falters.
Receive divinity. The dead return.
Are you playing Armored Core? Do I have it installed on this computer? Yeah, we can look at Armored Core. We can test Armored Core. The name of the game is in the description of the video.
to say bye.
Alright, here we go. I don't know why the Kafka insists on shooting at the flowers every time. Oh, I guess that's why. Okay, that makes sense. But we have way too many skill points now. See, I think Fushuan could have actually succeeded here if I was, like, backseat driving a little bit, like I am right now. I think it's because I let the AI drive 100% of the time on the previous fight, and that's why we failed. Do people still play World of Warcraft, or is that game a thing of the past? People still play that game. A lot of people still play that game. It's definitely not as popular as it was in its heyday, but there's still people out there that play WoW. I mean, I haven't played World of Warcraft in a long time, but there's still a lot of people that do play the game. I did go back to World of Warcraft for 1 month back in 2019 when they released WoW Classic. When Blizzard brought back World of Warcraft Classic, I played through it for like a month and a half. I went to level 60. I did Molten Core runs with a group, with like a guild. It felt like, it was like reliving the past in a way. But then after that, you know, I just kind of stopped playing it again. And I've never played it since. So, but yeah, like the only MMO that I play is, well, the only MMO that I'm still actively subscribed to is Final Fantasy XIV Endwalker. I don't really play any other MMOs. Like I haven't really played like other than that game, and even with Final Fantasy XIV, I haven't actually been actively playing Final Fantasy XIV. Oh, it says Starfield. It really says Starfield? Wait, why is the... Are you sure? Does it really say Starfield? It shouldn't say Starfield. The game... on the live stream, does it say Starfield? I don't really think it says Starfield. It doesn't say Starfield for me. Okay, I gotta do one more boss fight. We're not gonna fight that thing again, because that thing's annoying. I don't really need to fight that thing. I have 29 of her stuff. I have 31 of these. Let's do Big Freeze. Should we fight Big Frosty? Or should we fight the Antimatter Doomsday Beast? Let's fight the Antimatter Doomsday Beast. In fact, what we're gonna do, for this, we're just gonna turn on the disco music. Turn all the other sound off, turn the disco music up, Let's just go do the disco real quick. Okay. We'll get rid of him. Actually, he's good. This dude's good. He's legit good. Kafka, we don't need her. She can get out of here. Bring in Himiko. She's good. Fire style. Frost, we got Fire, Frost. Actually, we don't need him. Should probably bring Natasha. Why is she not at full HP? Alright, what we're gonna do for this is we're just gonna like jam out to the music in this fight because I don't know what else to do with it until we turn off this game and get into something else. I like how the theme of this game is exploring outer space in literally what looks like the Polar Express. That's hilarious. It's a sci-fi game. You know what's funny? It's kind of sad. In some ways, Starfield failed to live up to a lot of people's expectations. Yet a game like Star Rail over-delivered and actually is good. Yeah, like, this is the game, like, I remember when this game came out, because remember, guys, Star Rail is considered a 2023 game, and it's a sci-fi game. That's the reason why, like, when I think of how many games came out this year, a lot did. But we got a lot of sci-fi, because this game came out, and like a few days after this game came out, we got Star Wars Jedi Survivor. We all know how that went down when that game came out. And then Starfield came out, like, months later. So we have Starfield, Star Rail, and Star Wars. There's like 3 big sci-fi games. Oh, and don't forget about Dead Space. Dead Space was also earlier this year. Out of all of them, I kind of think, like, Star Rail, this game, is the only one that feels like it's a fully polished game, like, at release. This game has a ton of content. It keeps getting more content because it's a live service game. And it plays really good. There's no bugs. There's no issues. Like, it runs really, really good. It runs on smartphones. It runs on desktop. You know, it looks good. They understand style. Like, I've said it before. I sound like a broken record for those that have already heard this. But they understand how to make characters look cool. Like, the outfits are well detailed. They know how to make character designs in this game. Somebody knows what they're doing when they made Star Rail. Now, the same cannot be said for some other games, some of which probably had even larger budgets and longer development time frames than this game. But I could be wrong. So let's go ahead and get into this boss fight. Move this over here. No, that'll block the chat. There. 7800. This is the 7800 XT theme. This is the music of the 7800 XT. Oh, that might be a little loud. Who says you can't play music on stream and not get demonetized? That's why I love Star Rail. You can play the entire Star Rail OST from start to finish streaming, and you're not going to get hit with a copyright strike or notification or whatever, or you're not gonna get demonetized for playing Star Rail's OST. That's what I love about this developer. These developers are great, man. They make a grade A game and they don't demonetize you for playing their music. Alright, so we're just gonna let this play out. When this is done, we'll switch over to Hogwarts Legacy. This is gonna be a while. This boss has a ton of HP. Okay. He's almost down. He's almost down. Come on, Blade, get him. He's falling down. This thing is literally called Doomsday Beast, and it's made of antimatter. But these characters are so brave, they'll actually go and punch in the face, even though it's made of antimatter. They don't even know like how much radiation it's giving off. It's literally full of dark energy. Here it goes. Impending Doom. I love the name of the attacks. Impending Doom. That's such an awesome attack. But no, seriously though, I'm looking forward to Lords of the Fallen. That game's coming out next month. I think it's like, what, 2.5 weeks? I gotta check. When is that game coming out? It is Friday the 13th of October. So that is literally 3 weeks from now. Lords of the Fallen is coming out 3 weeks from now. That game is gonna probably be a ton of fun. I really need to finish Lies of P before that time, and I'm kind of close to the end. I think I've got like, what, 4 bosses left before I finish the game, including the hidden secret boss for the true ending, which is the one I'm going to try to get on my first playthrough, because I don't want to be dealing with like super hard bosses on New Game Plus mode. Oh, she got sent to the Shadow Realm. That's not good. Our healer got sent. Natasha's in the Shadow Realm. There, she got out of it somehow. Here, you know what? I'm gonna override her and I'm gonna force her to heal everybody, because this could go south. There. But Dan, you were asking what game is this? So, this is Star Rail. Best mobile game of the year. If you want to play it on PC, it's completely free to play. You don't have to spend any money. It's you basically can do everything that you see me doing here. 100% free to play. Alright, he's almost down. Luckily, this boss only has 2 phases. He's not a 3-phase boss. I don't like the 3-phase boss fights in this game. They were just way too long. What is their earnings model? The selling battle passes and kind of like monthly login, kind of like subscription thing. It's not a subscription. It's basically like you could pay $5. It's like $4.99 for 90. Like every time you log in, you get 90 of the little currency thing every day for like 30 days. That's like $4.99. So they sell that. I mean, if you choose to buy that, which is actually worth it because that does double the amount of wishes you get for the gacha system. So if you're gonna play this game a lot, that is kind of the smart way to spend money in this game, is to pay like $5 for 30 days. That's like one of the ways they make money. The other one is selling battle passes. So the battle pass is $10 for 40 days. So that's like, you combine those two together, that's $15. So that together is basically like a MMO subscription. It's like $15 a month, give or take. It's really more like $15 over 40 days. So, or I guess if you average it out, it's more like $12 for 40 days. So it's kind of interesting in that regard. But yeah, like you could spend money on the game, like to buy the ability to do wishes like up front, I guess, if you wanted to do that, but you don't have to do that. That's what the whales do in these type of games. So but that's basically it. So all right, so we're depleted on our daily stuff, so I can't really do anything else. So now it's time to move on to another game. So let's go back over here real quick. Where is my... Oh, that. We had this up. 580. This one. Okay, let's go to this, and I'm going to exit out of this game real quick, and then we'll switch over here. What is all this stuff I've got to click on? Oh. Okay. Okay, Hogwarts Legacy's next. So let's start that up. Oh, and Matt wanted me to test ray tracing. So I'm going to have to go into the game, turn on RT, then exit the game, and then restart the game. Oh, and I might have to bring up Afterburner too. Yeah, I have to get Afterburner going because people are probably going to want to see what the frame rate looks like. Okay, it says preparing the shaders. So it has to recompile the shaders because I swapped the GPU. But that shouldn't take too long. I don't know. If I am to list the games that I think are the best ones that came out this year are Star Rail. Starfield is good, but a lot of people are overly harsh about it. I think Starfield is overall it's a good game. It's wide in scope. It's not the best looking game, but it is a good game. So Starfield, Hogwarts Legacy, Final Fantasy 16, Tears of the Kingdom, Street Fighter 6, Resident Evil 4 Remake, and Armored Core 6 Fires of Rubicon, Lies of P, and probably Jedi Survivor, but maybe. We'll see. All right, let me... Here, I'm in the game, but I need to turn on the RT and stuff. Actually, I can show it right now. Move it over here. There it is. All right, what I need to do... It's going to run it at 4K, but if we're going to test... you know what? Hold on. Let's do 4K. But let's test with FSR2, because with FSR2 we can actually do 1440. That will be 1440p effectively. And that's kind of what this GPU is designed to do. Alright, and then we're going to turn on the ray tracing. Let's do RT reflections on medium, and we'll turn on... Does the RT shadows even work? I think it's just the reflections, right? Alright, it wants me to restart the game, so I have to restart the game. We'll try medium and ultra and see how that goes. And I'm gonna have to make the... The other thing I need to do is I need to... Well, let's just go into the game and see what it looks like. Okay. And the other thing I need to do, I need to go down to... Where's Rivatuner? I need to make Rivatuner... Like, I gotta make the thing larger. There. So that it's more visible, I guess? There. That's, like, super big. But I think that's how it is. Okay, so... This is how the game runs at effectively... This is 4K, but this is 1440p internal resolution. So you can think of this as kind of like 1440p, but the final output is 4K. So just to kind of show people what that looks like if you weren't paying attention earlier. So this is it. I'm playing it in windowed full screen. So it is 4K, but it is 67% rendering resolution, which is basically 1440p. That's via FSR2. I have it capped to 144. It'll never really hit that number, so that doesn't really matter. And then for the preset, it's Ultra with ray tracing reflections on. I'm going to restart the game just to make sure it turns it on. Now, the weird thing is they say that you have to restart the game, but what I have noticed in my own testing is if you turn RT on, you will notice the impact. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and let's just restart the game. Let's just do that. You're a wizard, Harry? Okay. Let's exit. And then I will restart the game as soon as Steam will synchronize my save to the cloud. Okay. Uploading. There we go. All right, we're starting it up again. So, well, look at The Last of Us 2, because I think a lot of people wanted to see Last of Us, and I guess Starfield after that. And someone had asked about Fires of Rubicon. Dan had asked, I don't know if Dan's still watching, but Dan was in here earlier and had asked about Armored Core. I can show Armored Core as well. And Lies of P. What's funny is a lot of people keep on saying that Starfield is AMD sponsored, Starfield is AMD sponsored, Starfield is AMD sponsored, but the thing is, no one's saying that about Lies of P. And Lies of P runs great, and Lies of P literally has the AMD logo on the front of the game when you load up the game every single time. So I just kind of find that a little bit interesting. Okay. All right, here we go. Oh, let me check my settings again. Why is it like this? What happened here? Okay, FSR is still on. RT is on medium for the reflections. You know the main reason why it is trending that way? Trending what way? What? Lies of P? Okay.
Sometimes it seems all roads lead to Hogsmeade.
All right, but this is the game running at effectively 4K, but it's 1440 upscale with the RT on medium for the reflections. Why is it trending that way? Like, I don't understand. Because why is no one mentioning what I'm saying is nobody's mentioning that Lies of P is an AMD sponsored game.
I'll fix him.
But you turn on Lies of P. We're gonna go look at Lies of P in a few minutes. But Lies of P is also an AMD sponsored game. Like, it is really an AMD sponsored game. The only thing about Starfield is is this gonna be like a hidden quest or something if I follow this ghost? The thing with Starfield is if you buy a Radeon GPU or a Ryzen 7000 series CPU, you get Starfield. They asked why Starfield didn't have DLSS, and AMD cannot answer the question. What did AMD even say, though? What was AMD's response? This is weird. Is this Ghost supposed to do this? Is this Ghost just on a patrol path? What's going on here? It's like she's bugged or something. Well, I guess that's how ghosts move. This was at the time of when they publicly show the recommendation specs. AMD didn't say anything for weeks, and so the snowball. Okay, I guess she just goes in a circle. Okay, when I see cats that you can pet in the game, you know what game it makes me think of? It makes me think of Forspoken. We might need to test Forspoken, everybody's favorite game. One of the first games that's going to get frame generation from FSR.
Now, Demi guys.
Every time I see cats that you can actually pet in the game, I think of Forspoken. Is that a thing that you do in this game? You can literally just walk into people's homes and just like eat their random food that they leave out in the open. That seems to be a general trend with Hogwarts. Look at that ray traced violin. Look at the ray traced reflections on that violin. And as you know, the Starfield release build didn't have DLSS and XeSS, so that is why the gaming community keeps saying that. Well, see, here's the thing about Starfield, though. Like, if Starfield didn't run so badly at release, I don't think that there would have been that many complaints. Because Lies of P, as far as I know, I don't even know if Lies of P has DLSS. But Lies of P runs great. And it's UE4, and it doesn't have any weird frame stuttering or any of that kind of weird stuff. You were looking at the woodworking bench? Oh yeah, right here. Yeah, this thing. This is pretty cool. Yeah, this is, that's... Yeah, but see the ray traced lighting though, because this is ray traced reflections is what I turned on, right? So the light source right there is the lamp, and the shadow that's cast under the okay, this NPC like walked into me and literally like pushed me onto the table. But see how the shadow is being cast from the light? So that weird guitar looking thing, whatever this instrument is, the shadow underneath it, I think, is, and also the shadow from the wood. See where the wood is there in the corner? What is she doing? I don't know what she's trying to do, but it looks dangerous. Because the only complaint that I hear about Lies of P is De Novo this, De Novo that. Everyone's complaining because De Novo, like Lies of P, launched with De Novo in it in the Steam version. I don't know about the Game Pass one on Xbox, but De Novo is in the Steam version of Lies of P, and everybody was complaining about that. Like, I don't even understand what's the thing about De Novo. Like, why is there such a huge backlash when a game launches with De Novo? Like, I don't even know what De Novo does. I know it's some kind of, like, anti-cheat. Some kind of, like, security thing. Some DRM thing that they put in the game. But I don't really know what it does. Like, I don't know, like, why people complain about it so much. I mean, I think I've heard people say that...
Hello, Hamura.
Oh, this again. How do I do this? I forgot how to do this. Oh, wait. Ooh. The ray traced reflections. Yeah, this is a game that I really need to play more of. But see, I already have it planned out of when I expect to finish this game. Because I think my chat in general... Whoa, that was a cool item. My chat in general keeps thinking that I'll never finish this game. I've planned to do more of a playthrough. I've planned for the end of the year. Because the thing is, November and December, as far as I know... The last 2 months of the year usually go by really fast, but the reality is 2023 has released so many good games that for some reason at the end of the year there's not a whole lot, like in terms of the game releases. So after October there's no big game releases. In fact, I'm going to double check and look at my calendar here to see. The last big game that I have listed is Marvel's Spider-Man 2 on October 20th. So that is a week after Lords of the Fallen. After that, there's nothing that I'm tracking until next year. So that means that November and December is when I will revisit the games that I have not finished. So Hogwarts Legacy, Forspoken, Jedi Survivor, and maybe The Last of Us. But The Last of Us, I don't expect to cover that game, or I mean, I don't expect to finish that game, although the game is really not that long. So maybe I will do kind of like a Halloween, like a late October stream to try to finish Last of Us, because I did play quite a bit into that game. So we may revisit that game at least one more time. One more time this year, hopefully. But Hogwarts Legacy is a game that I will definitely revisit toward the end of the year when there's not a whole lot of newer games that are going to cut in front of it. But I expect to finish Lies of P, Armored Core, before I finish Hogwarts. I might be able to finish Hogwarts before I finish Starfield, though, because Starfield has been a game that has turned into nothing more than a benchmark application. Like, I've done more, I think I've spent more time benchmarking in Starfield than I have actually playing the game. Or it's pretty close. It's at least 50-50 split in terms of how much time I've spent benchmarking Starfield versus how much time I've actually spent playing the game. So...
Take your time looking about. Plenty of wonderful books to stoke a curious mind like yours.
Should I sell this stuff? Yeah, I guess I'll sell this. It's worse than what I have. That actually has an ability, though. This I don't need. Don't need this either. Have you tried? No, I have not played Cyberpunk at all. At all. I've never played that game. Maybe I'll try it. Like if it shows up on Steam for like really cheap, like $20 or something, then I'll consider getting it. But that's a game that I have not once even looked at. I mean, other than the fact that it was terrible at launch.
Let me know if there's anything else
back in 2020 when it came out. But no, I've not. Wait, what does this do? Whoa, that's cool. Oh, I got another piece of gear that I can probably just immediately sell. Because I probably have over-leveled it. Or out-leveled it.
Let's look at what we have, shall we?
Here's a scarf. Oh, that was this one? What's this? Yeah, I don't need that. There. Now I have like 1,000 something more gold than I had when I started. Every time I play Hogwarts on stream like this, it's like I make a little bit of progress. It's just ever so slightly further into the game, even if it's just selling gear and finding more gear.
You're back. Nice to see you again. What are we looking for today?
What is all this stuff? Oh, these are the broom things.
Thanks for stopping by.
Hope
to see you again.
Just curious, you ran Cyberpunk 2077 on the 7800 XT and got really good results. You also beat RK on Speedway. Which 7800? Oh, you got the Hellhound. I think I remember. Yeah, you got the Hellhound. That one is a pretty good one. I think there's also like a white variant of the Hellhound, which looks really good because apparently the white one has a button that can change the color of the lights. Like, I think you can change the color between white, blue, or off, or something like that, or purple. The guy from the UK that does a lot of motherboard videos, Tiny Tom Logan, I think is his name. Overclockers UK. I think it's Overclockers UK. OC something. I forgot the name of his channel, but he showed like a Hellhound, a white edition Hellhound recently. I think it was either the 7800 XT or it was the 7900 XT. I forgot which one. I think it's the former though.
Thank you again for delivering those potions to Madame Lawing. Saved me a lot of time and trouble.
See, these combat tool ones are good, but these are expensive.
I hope to see you again. Farewell for now.
I wonder what a speed run of this game would look like. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like this guy sells the sort of stuff that a speedrunner would probably buy strategically to make a certain boss fight or something much easier.
Farewell for now.
So, that's something. Oh wow, I just noticed that my Afterburner is showing the total system RAM usage at 27 gigabytes of RAM. But the game is only using like 12. This game is a resource hog though. It's using 12.6 gigabytes of system RAM and it's using about 12 gigabytes of video memory. Wait, hold on. Is that for the application though? Let me see. RAM usage, I mean, I don't really need that one. So the RAM per process, and then the other one was VRAM. Where's VRAM? GPU memory usage. No, that's the one for the game. Wow. So the game is using a lot. 11.6 gigabytes for 4K. I think that's something that's different between if you run the game at 4K, even if you're using FSR, like 4K with FSR2 is basically 1440p upscaled to 4K using AMD's temporal anti-aliasing technique. But if you're running the game at native 1440p, I don't think it uses this much VRAM. I think it's only using this much VRAM because it's actually targeting 4K, even though it's using FSR to upscale from 1440. So that's the reason why it is the way it is, because I feel like the actual 1440 results are different. In fact, I know for a fact the 1440 results are different because I tested this game with this card earlier today, and the FPS was different from this. So this is the 4K results with all the memory caching for 4K. Alright, well this is basically it. Let's go to Hogwarts. Let's just go teleport over there. And go inside the school. I don't know if I'm going to do the main quest. But let's just go somewhere in here. Just run around the school and see how it looks.
Handy resource indeed, your field guide. I'm most pleased.
Man, it runs a lot better in the school than it did in Hogsmeade. We're doing over 90 FPS now. I feel like this game is probably a really good game to play during the holiday season. Because, I don't know, I just have, like, memories of watching the Harry Potter movies as a kid. Like, around Christmas break, like around winter break. The holiday season, I forgot all the spells. I forgot what I'm supposed to do
Revelio.
here. Revelio. No, not that. I want to go stealth. How do I get out of this?
Lumos.
I forgot how to play the game. This is what happens when you don't play a game consecutively for more than like 3 months. I literally forgot. Oh wait, actually, you know what? Never mind. I think I remember. That question mark has to do with this door, which I already figured out how to open a while back. I think that's what that's for. But yeah, this is 1440 upscale to 4K via FSR2. For those wondering what these numbers indicate. So no CPU bottleneck because, you know, the GPU is pegged at 100%. 99%, 100% indicates that you're not CPU bound. We go outside and notice the FPS drops dramatically because of the draw distance. The draw distance is what's really changing the frame rate there. You go inside. Now there is object culling happening. That's why we're still in the 60s. But as soon as we go like further indoors. Alright, here now let's look at all the other like NPCs around. Let's go to the library. In general, though, this game runs really good. I mean, I can't really tell the difference between how this game ran at launch versus how it runs with all the patches months later. However, the reason why I'm not noticing a difference is because I have a 16GB graphics card here. If you had an 8GB graphics card, notice how right now the game's using 11GB of video memory. If we were using, for example, the 3080, which only has 10GB of video memory. If we were using a 10GB card and the game wanted to use more than 10GB, in this case it's using, you know, like 11GB, what would end up happening is it would have to use system memory. And what that would do is that would cause latency spikes. That would cause kind of micro stutters. What they did to get around that with the recent patches to the game is they unload some of the textures on the floor, in particular the floor. And we saw this behavior when I tested the RX 7600 back when that GPU launched, because that GPU only had 8 gigabytes of memory, and I remember testing it at 1440p in this game, and I would look at the floor, and the textures would constantly be going in and out of being fully loaded and unloaded and fully loaded and unloaded, and it's because it was having to basically unload them to free up video memory to load stuff that was being drawn on the screen or in the viewport as you were running through the game world. So it was kind of weird that that was their solution, or kind of a workaround for low video memory GPUs, like 8 gigabyte cards, or even 10 gigabyte graphics cards, like the 3080. So that is something that if you have a 12 gigabyte or a 16 gigabyte card, and see, this is an example of why I really think that a 12 gigabyte graphics card is not a good long-term investment for 1440p, because if you look at the game, literally right now, we're running 11.2 gigabytes of VRAM at 1440p. Well, internal resolution 1440p, I might add. This is actually 4K, but it is 1440 internal upscaled. So, but the point that I'm making still stands. If you buy a 12 gigabyte card, today you already have games like Hogwarts that are pushing up against 11 gigabytes of video memory. So I can only imagine once newer games that are built off of game engines like UE5, for example, are going to be even more resource demanding as we move away from the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One era of gaming, and we now fully embrace the 9th generation, aka PS5 and Xbox Series X. Now the developers are able to really push the envelope in terms of how much resources they use from the hardware. So that's the reason why I don't recommend the 4070. Someone had asked at the beginning of the live stream, is the 4070 good now that it's $550? I mean, the cheapest, lowest end AIB is about $550 right now, and it only comes with 12 gigabytes, so it's like, no, it's still a bad value. So, and this is kind of the proof of that argument, because, you know, that caps out at 12 gigabytes, and it's probably not going to be a good user experience if the game has to unload and reload and unload and reload textures constantly, because your VRAM limited in newer games. So yeah, 16 gigabytes is definitely the way to go. The display may intermittently freeze after changing the encode format while streaming select games using AMD Link. I'm not using AMD Link. I don't use that. That's for like a remote thing. No, AMD Link is not. Okay, AMD Link is for remote play, for one thing. That's not for streaming. No, I don't use AMD Link at all. In fact, there's nothing even happening with the stream. Ever since I stopped and restarted, I reset the ping server. It's fine. So it wasn't anything to do with the game or the hardware. It was like a network side issue. But no, it doesn't use AMD Link. AMD Link is for remote. Basically, what AMD Link is, I've never actually used it, but AMD Link is the ability to, I think you can, it's kind of like PlayStation Remote, is what it is. Where you can access your game, you can actually like stream your game to some kind of tablet or mobile device. So your desktop becomes the server, and your whatever mobile device you're using is accessing the game remotely over AMD Link. That's what AMD Link is, and no, we're not using that. Probably be an interesting video, because I don't think there's a lot of content that showcases AMD Link.
It was empty.
But anyway, that is Hogwarts Legacy at 4K using FSR2. with ray tracing, medium for the ray traced reflections. Okay, so let's move on to the next game. So we're going to exit out of that. I think I'll test, I'm thinking, what should I test next? Let's test Forspoken. Let's test Forspoken, everybody's favorite game of 2023. If it'll show up in my list of games it's running. There we go. Forspoken, where are you? I need it to show up in my list. There it is. Luminous Engine! Forspoken. This is, I don't know, this game... Wait a minute, there's add-on content now? Resolution 4K. Oh boy. 4K. VSync is off. It doesn't let you go beyond 120 frames per second. We're gonna have to set this to like high or standard or something. Let's just start with ultra high. Yeah, and then we're gonna turn on dynamic. We're gonna have to set the FSR. How do I turn on FSR? Oh, FSR's quality. Okay, hold on, never mind. Go to custom. FSR quality. Yeah. Alright, let's just see how the game runs with this with this setting. With this preset. Why am I in danger? I immediately load in and I'm in danger.
Come on.
I don't remember how to play the game. Every time I start up this game, I always forget how to play. Oh, this is Forspoken. Yeah, this game has a cool, like... It has a lot of interesting ideas. Why am I in the middle of nowhere, though? I don't remember being out here. And I forgot what the menu is. Like, how do you access the... Bag? I am... None of the buttons work. Do I have to play this with a controller? I don't know what any of the buttons do. Trying to figure out how to open up the regular menu. But nothing seems to work. Like, I'm just pressing M for map. And it doesn't seem to do anything. So, hold on. Do I have to bust out the controller? This game's... The keyboard and mouse controls are that bad. Let's scan. This is like to change, I guess. AMD FSR 3 on this game will be something. Yeah, look at the frame rate on it. It's like sub 60 on Ultra. Hence why this is a game that they would want to target for FSR 3. Okay, I don't know why I can't figure out... It's not this button. Is it this one? Oh, it's this one? So then wait a minute. What was this button? Q? Was it escape? F1? No. What was the button? Okay, this game cannot be played with keyboard and mouse. It's terrible on keyboard and mouse. They actually use the brackets as a shortcut? My problem is I don't remember how to do the grappling hook. I forgot how to play this game. It's weird. I have to relearn how to play this. Alright, hold on. So let's see if we can optimize this a little bit more. So let's try dropping the model memory or the... well, it's already... Oh, ray trace shadows are on. No wonder! Ray tracing is on. Literally, ray tracing is already on. Okay, let's turn off the ray trace shadows. And the ray trace ambient occlusion. Alright, I turned off RT. Now let's see what the frame rate looks like. Oh, look! Now we're able to go above 60. This is the same problem that I had when I was testing the game with the RTX 4090. Like, I remember the RTX 4090 couldn't even do 60 FPS in this game. And it wasn't until I figured out, oh, I have to turn off ray tracing. It's like, big whoop, ray tracing doesn't like, you turn RT on, not even the 4090 can do 60 FPS in this game. That's why everyone calls this game the new Crisis. This is the new Crisis. It's so hard to run. To be fair, yeah, I forgot how to play Hogwarts. I forgot how to play this game. To be fair, I would be forgetting. Yeah, I forgot how to do all this stuff. Like, man, I forgot how to do the. How am I not able to do the grappling hook though? I feel like it was no. Is it this? Oh wait, hold up. I think I'm trying to remember it. It's okay, that's something, and then you do that. There, okay, I kind of remembered how to do it. Sort of. But then I'm gonna, like, turn off this game, not play it for another 2 months, and then I'm gonna forget how to play it again. So basically, with ray tracing turned off, the 7800 XT is able to run this game at 4K with FSR2 turned on. So let's go back up here. So we're on quality. If we turn off FSR2 and try to run the game at a native 4K, so you guys can see right here, this is native 4K. Now we're gonna do native 4K. Okay, see? You stare at the sky, and you can do 90 frames per second in this game. But if you go and look at the ground, you're dipping. Let's see. Let's check it out. Honestly, this doesn't seem that much worse than the 4090. The difference is, this is how the 4090 runs the game at native 4K with ray tracing turned on. So basically, if I turn the ray tracing back on, and we keep the game, we keep the FSR off, and we turn back on the RT stuff, now we're at like 50 frames per second, 47, 46. See? So it's like it's not even that much worse than a 4090. That's the reason why this game is so bizarre. Because to get 60 FPS, to get above 60 FPS at 4K native on the 4090, I have to turn off the RT. So the RT turned off, I'm like just under 60 frames per second without FSR. So this is a very good example of where frame generation could help the game by leaps and bounds, because this game, the game just already kind of looks the way it looks. So with frame generation, it would just, you know, fix the frame rate problem. Because right now, the only way to get above 60 at 4K is to turn on FSR. That's it. Like, that's how you do it. See, so with quality means 1440p. It's basically 67% render scale which is 1440 upscaled to 4K. And see, at that internal resolution of 1440p, it can run the game well above 60. So that's the reason why, again, I really think the 7800 is a really good 1440p graphics card, because you can basically play all the modern games at very good frame rate at 1440p native. Or you can do 4K, you just have to use upscaling from 1440p to 4K. So, okay, so that is Forspoken at 4K with FSR2, able to do above 60 frames per second. And this game is basically Crysis. It's the Crysis of 2023, because it's super hard to run for, like, everything. I remember this game came out in January, and, like, it caught everybody off guard, and at launch, there was literally only... Well, there was actually no GPU. There's actually no GPU today. Let me say that again so that people let this can sink in. There is currently no GPU that can run Forspoken above 60 frames per second at 4K native with ray tracing turned on. So even the 4090, as I showed in a previous live stream, if you turn off upscaling and you turn on RT, shadows and ambient occlusion, you cannot hit 60 at 4K native with RT turned on a 4090. That is ridiculous, and that is the reason why I consider this game the Crysis of 2023, because when it came out in January, not even the 4090, which was only like 2.5 months old, not even that GPU could handle this game. No consumer GPU. Yeah, well, did I say GPU? Yeah, no consumer. Well, I mean, even the 4090 Ti can't do it. So it's, I mean, the gap was too big. The 4090 Ti can't close the gap. Maybe it can with like some kind of high overclock, but the gap was just too big. So anyway, that's Forspoken. Let's look at another game. All right. So what do we want to do next? Do we want to do Lies of P, or do we want to do Armored Core 6? Or, I would rather not do Star Wars. Do we want to do Starfield? The Last of Us Part 1. The Last of Us Part 1 is another game that's extremely hard to run. That game is like... Well, Forspoken I still think is the harder game. Last of Us is extremely punishing, though. Lies of P. Alright, we're going to do Lies of P. Ty's saying Lies of P. RK's saying Lies of P. Alright. Now shader compiling. The only thing with Lies of P... Lies of P? Okay, never mind. It's going. There we go. Round 8 Studios. I don't think it's designed to run games. Why is it asking me to do this? Oh, it's because it's not cached on this PC. Okay, look, check this out. Literally right next to me, there's an AMD logo on the front of this game. AMD Together We Advance, along with Unreal Engine. You guys can't see Unreal Engine because I'm in the way. I have to move out of the way so you guys can see that. Let me move myself up here. Look, see that? Check that out. Unreal Engine and AMD. This game is so blatantly like sponsored. It's in the title screen. Okay, we're gonna run this game at 4K. Oh, max frame rate. Let's do 144 because that's the maximum on my monitor. Do we want to do FSR 2? Let's first do FSR off and see what happens. I don't know what AMD Cacao is. I think that's like a sharpening thing. Graphics quality is best. Okay. All right, let's do it. Let's see how Liza P runs. 4K native. This is gonna be 4K native on a 7800 XT. So remember, this card was not designed for 4K. Oh, and this is gonna be huge spoilers. Huge spoilers for those that are wanting to play through this game. Right now, spoiler alert, there are some massive, massive spoilers right now in the Hotel Krat. So just fair warning to anybody. I'm very far into the game at this point, so I just wanted to point that out. So let's just do a little bit of running through here. So this is 4K native, max settings, and we're at like 70 FPS. All right, let's just kind of go. I'm gonna try not to spoil too much of this game, so I will go back to an earlier area. I'm trying to think of an area that I may have missed some items. Let's just go back here. I'll just backtrack a little bit. I don't want to spoil too much of it. Now, if I do stream this game normally, then I will play through all the spoiler areas. So, just fair warning. But because we're doing a benchmark, I'm not going to... I'm going to try not to spoil too much of the game for those that are curious. Alright, so let's see. We're doing like 80. Let's try to do some combat here. H100 doesn't have enough ROPS to be used for gaming. Yeah. That's what I was thinking. I was thinking it's not really designed for gaming. Get over here. Get over here. Wasn't there a Mortal Kombat game that came out as well recently? I'm just running around and poking things with a giant flame dagger. Or like a flame spear. But you guys can see when the big explosions happen, the game doesn't really dip. I mean, it runs... See, the thing about this game... Notice this is an AMD sponsored game, but this game doesn't even really need FSR 3. It looks good. This game looks good. It looks good, and it runs really well. It's like, oh, what Starfield could have been. See, like this game... Hold on, so does this game even have a lot of those settings that people always wish for? Like, I don't see ray tracing or anything. Let's see, graphics, detail settings. Best, 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 best. Everything's best. Yeah, so... Have a 6950 XT with a 7800X 3D. Should I upgrade GPU? Upgrade to what? Upgrade to what? Like, if you have a 6950 XT, there's no reason to change to a 7800 XT. The 7800 XT AIB cards are basically the same as a 6950 XT. So, same amount of memory, same general rasterization performance. Ooh, that guy, like, he got me. He tried to get me. Okay. There's no reason to upgrade, though, for you. Like, the only upgrade, the only cards you could go to would be an XTX. Yeah. Yeah, because even the 7900 XT, the 7900 XT isn't even as big of a jump from a 6950 XT to warrant the upgrade. Like you'd like literally, like Met just said, like your only options are the XTX or the 4090. That's literally the only options. So, and realistically, if you're on a 1440p monitor, you shouldn't do anything because the 6950 XT is already designed for 1440p. Like it does really good at that resolution. So really nothing for you to do. You're the type of, so you're in the group of what I consider better off waiting for next generation. Like you basically skip the entire I'll see if I can parry this guy. Yeah. The afterburner overlay is so big I can barely see my health bar. Let's get this big guy in the corner. Oh, now he's on fire. He didn't like that. Oh, he got me off guard. Okay. Now I got him off guard. What I have found, this game to me was really, really hard to get used to until I started using the faster weapons. I feel like the faster weapons that have fast attacks like this are way easier to land hits with than the big slow weapons. Because I was trying to use something like this, like a giant wrench, and this is so slow that it forces you to have to play defensively to parry attacks in order to get your turn in, if you will, to be able to attack. It was kind of annoying. So, like, I've got, what, the shovel? I've got this weird thing here with, like, a bunch of puppet hands on it. Like, this weapon is kind of weird. But it's so slow. But I imagine that the big heavy weapons stagger the enemy a lot faster if you can land the hit. See, like, look, notice how the character even loses his balance. It's so heavy. See, watch the foot. See, look, notice how the left leg lifts up. That shows you how heavy the weapon is. Also, like, I move slower. Appreciate you, just need to know. I've always been one of those, need the new latest tech, but in the case I feel like you... Yeah, because the thing is, the 6950 XT isn't even that old. You keep in mind that the 6950 XT launched in, like, April or May of last year. So it's only like a year and a half old in terms of when the product actually released. So that's why I wouldn't do anything if I were you. Unless you're going to go to a 4K monitor, then you wouldn't really... I mean, if you're going to go to 4K, or if you're on 4K, then maybe you could consider an upgrade, but realistically, you're better off just kind of waiting. See, like, this weapon looks really cool. This sword looks so cool, but it's so slow. Alright, I'm just gonna kind of go to the next area and just kind of show, like, what it's like fighting with a big, slow sword. The cool thing about this weapon, though, is it could transform into a glaive. And when it's in the glaive mode, it's actually quite good. I'm just gonna use it in glaive. When it's in the glaive form, it's longer, so it's gonna be able to do more. Oh, I forgot that I need to kill this guy. I don't think I ever killed that big guy. He might actually drop something that I need. Clear this room first and take the big guy out. Somebody threw something at me. Alright, let's get this guy. See the nice thing? Of course there'd be another enemy waiting in the corner. Threw something at me. Alright, you know what? You are gonna get over here and you're gonna die. Yeah, notice this big guy. Yeah, I can do that stuff to him. That's the cool thing about the big weapon, is you can stagger larger opponents more easily, but I feel like you're playing a risk versus reward. I feel like you're playing far more risky when you use the large weapon. Of course, you also hit pretty hard too, so there is that. Wait, there's a thing I never did?
And it's another lovely day in Crod City. What a time to be alive! Or a reasonable approximation, revived. Soon, this little dance of ours will come to an end. No one's ever danced longer, I promise, my friend. Will you stay with me too and face whatever is coming? For today's a new day, and we have to keep running. I knew that you would, and I find that refreshing. So, the King of Riddles will now hear your confession. Blind confessions reveal one's true guilt. True confessions of blood being spilt. This one's black and white. A no or a yes. Is Geppetto's creation a killer? Confess. Bravo, fantastico. The spilling of blood is one of life's pleasures. And murder? A passion of mine. One I treasure. Don't be ashamed or embarrassed about it. Murder honors life by living without it. Impending death makes you think on existence, huh? Isn't that just so human? You're going the distance.
This guy's like the Joker.
Stand up straight, chin out. Here's your key. This isn't the last you'll be seeing of me. I hope you enjoyed our time, second fiddle. But for now, that's farewell from the King of Riddle.
Whoa, man, this dude's... The Chosen One's key? Wait, so that means I must have missed this phone booth, because I was wondering why I didn't get this item at some point. So that means it's a good thing that I decided to test this game on the 7800 XT, because otherwise I would have missed this phone booth by not backtracking through this earlier area. Yeah, but this game's good. You know, I've started to see a lot of comparison videos on YouTube about this game versus Lords of the Fallen. Obviously, there's a lot of, like, Lies of P versus the From Software games, like Bloodborne and Sekiro. But more and more, there's a lot of people starting to say, like, which is going to be the better game? This game or Lords of the Fallen? Ultimately, I think it's going to come down to personal preference. In terms of difficulty, I do think that this game is the harder game. Like, I haven't played Lords of the Fallen at all. That game comes out Friday the 13th of October. But if I had to say, just from my understanding of what that game's goals are versus what this game's goals are, I really think Lies of P is going to be the harder game. Wait, what? Wait, what? How did this guy... There you go. I got overheat buildup, but anyway. Like I was saying, I think this game was designed to be played a lot like Sekiro. Like, you're supposed to perfect guard a lot of things. You don't have to do that if you don't want to, but the game rewards you for successfully doing that. Finally, I said it. I compared that guy to the Joker instead of the Riddler. He's actually a little bit more like the Riddler, but the more you listen to him, the more creepy and demented he sounds, that you start thinking that he's like the Joker. I'm actually glad I came back over here because I did not realize I was missing that many. Oh wow, this game's jump is terrible. Sometimes they have items that are like hiding in the corner. Alright, but I think we're gonna test the next game. I'm just gonna do a final run through to make sure I got everything. Oh, there was still somebody around. Alright, I think that was the last one. Wow, you can't jump over... Wow. The jump is really bad. There, I was able to jump from a higher area to a lower area, but you can't really jump from a lower area up to a higher area. Alright, I think I've gotten all of the Trinity keys because that NPC gave me the last one that I needed. Man, these puppets have a lot of armor. You just installed the add-on YouTube Livestreams Theater Mode. Much better full screen layout with chat. Oh, okay, I might have to try that too. Alright, let me try some different weapons, but I think we're gonna probably switch to a different game here. Hold on. This would match the, this one? Or this one? with the, I guess like this. This outfit kind of matches the scythe for some reason. It's like some kind of court jester. I don't even know what this weapon even does. It scales with technique. There's a lot of weapons in the game, though. Like, it's a lot. Like, these ones down here are all boss weapons. Like, now I can fight like I'm the Penguin from Batman with a umbrella. That's cool. What is this? Clock sword? What does that do? And then there's also this. This is just straight up good. This thing's good against puppets because they're weak to electricity. The guy died before he could really do much. This is actually a decent farming spot to level up, just to grind levels. You just rinse and repeat. You kill those 2 puppets in there, you kill the 3 puppets over there, and you basically just level up over and over again. So anyway, that's Lies of P. This game is a ton of fun, but only if you like really challenging games. What's interesting is this game runs really well on the 7800 XT, even at 4K resolution, like native 4K. Like, I'm not even running FSR. FSR is in the game. I have not tested this on an NVIDIA GPU yet, so I don't know if DLSS is in this game. But realistically, like, if you need DLSS or FSR to run the game at a playable frame rate, to me, that kind of seems like the game's not well designed. I just kind of... I'm still of that mindset where you shouldn't have to use upscaling technology to get a playable frame rate. So this game does run really well, even on a GPU that's not supposed to be paired up with 4K as the target resolution. So that's really good. Not super VRAM heavy game. Well, I mean, look, 8.5 though. 8.5 for 4K is a decent amount. It exceeds 8, so you know all those 8 GB cards, like a 2080, they're not going to be able to cut it for 4K. But again, you know, like all the more like 16 gigs just seems like that's really good to have. Yeah, I think it is too. I agree. Alright, I'm gonna kill these guys, these puppets one more time, just for their souls, and then for their ergo, I should say. Did that guy drop anything? He didn't drop anything? That guy usually drops star fragments. That's an easy way to farm star fragments. Alright, so that's Lies of P. The game runs really good. Oh, actually, hold on. I need to go back and grab that fruit. Let's go to Hotel Krot. Let's go back to home base. Get some golden apples off the tree. And then we'll go check another game here. Huge spoilers. Spoilers. Don't look. Don't look at the hotel. I really wish they would just clean it up so it wouldn't be a spoiler. They're all just kind of sitting there in the lobby waiting for me to finish the game. It's like, you guys, you know, you could clean up the hotel while you're waiting. Alright, got some golden fruit. Gold coin fruit spawns every 8 minutes for a maximum 8, so you always want to be farming that stuff. Okay, that's gonna be it for this game. How many more do I need to level up, though? I need 15,990. I'm currently level 82. I kind of want to be around level 100 to level 110 when I finish the game. So we got about like 20 levels or so to go. But yeah, the game is really good. I played about like 30 hours or so, close to the end at this point. But alright, let's move on to another one. Alright, let's test, let's play, I guess, Fires of Rubicon, Armored Core 6. Let's try that. Or do you guys want to see Starfield? Let's just do Starfield. I'll just do Starfield next, because Starfield's easy. You have seen only 10 minutes of gameplay of this game. Well, I mean, was it the 10 minutes that I showed? Was it the 10 minutes that I just showed? Alright, here we go. Starfield. We're going in. Oh, wait, you guys aren't seeing it. Whoops. There we go. Alright, Starfield. If you watched any of the videos that I uploaded on the channel... Oh, this is 4K. That's the reason why it looks like this. Here, let's change this. I just realized something. If we do... Let's try... Well, it's 4K. Let's try 4K high and see how that does. Alright, Starfield 4K at high. High preset. We're doing about 64. We're gonna test Titan, just because Titan is a GPU bottleneck area. No, I don't have any mods. All I've really done with the game is I've just benchmarked the game with a bunch of GPUs and CPUs, and that's all I've done. Can I sit here? Oh, that's cool. Titan is like... Titan has always been one of the most intriguing places in the solar system, just for me personally, because I always, back when I was a kid, you know, when I studied the solar system, I always thought about, obviously, you know, well, what the heck? What? Get out of the way. Oh, man, okay, no. No. I was about to go off on a tangent, and the NPC just, like, interrupted me. I was about to sit down and tell a story, and this NPC just like walks up and is like, no, stop talking. Okay, fine, I'm gonna go jump in the sea of methane. Anyway, as I was saying, when I was a kid, I remember, like, I was big on the whole, like, solar system and life on other planets. Like in elementary school. And I remember Titan, the moon on Saturn, or the moon of Saturn that had an atmosphere. Like, it was the thing where it's like, I remember there was a lot of talk about, like, what would happen if Earth became uninhabitable in the future because the sun basically swelled to a red giant and engulfed the Earth and the inner planets. So obviously you couldn't go to Mars because Mars wasn't safe either. So you literally were stuck having to choose one of the... Okay, that's kind of weird. you had to choose one of the outer planets. And the outer planets are nothing but a bunch of gas giants. So you can't, like, live on Saturn or Jupiter, you know, whatever, Neptune, etc. So you basically had to choose a moon. And the only moon that was the one, I think, maybe there was one on Jupiter, like Ganymede or Callisto or Europa or one of those. But anyway, Titan was the one that always stood out to me because they talked about how it had an atmosphere. So I always wondered, like, what it looked like on the surface. So when Starfield got announced and they said that you could go to the solar system, I was intrigued to know, like, how would the Bethesda team envision what Titan would look like? So, and this is what they came up with. So I don't know what I'm sure they, like, probably looked at some kind of probe or satellite imagery or telescope imagery or something to try to piece it together. But they always talked about how it had methane, it had oceans of methane, and it had, like, I guess, sulfuric acid or something. But it's very cold, so there's a lot of, like, frozen water. So water is basically a solid all the time here. So water is no different than any other rock. Because if anybody's ever played Space Engineers is another game that it really puts kind of that whole sci-fi hat on as you're playing the game, if you will, because you have to keep track of... How am I not... Oh, there we go. You have to keep track of things like H2O. H2O is basically a rock in asteroids that you have to get. And obviously it's a rock when it's always frozen all the time, so it's no different than granite or other rocks that you come across. Water is basically a solid, who would have thought? So I'm guessing the ocean on Titan is a mixture of methane and liquid nitrogen. I'm guessing there's nitrogen because the Earth's atmosphere has a lot of nitrogen. So I would imagine that the atmosphere on Titan also has a lot of nitrogen. So it's all liquid nitrogen too. There's a lot of liquid nitrogen. So that's kind of interesting. So basically, that's the reason why I chose Titan to be the place where I do all the benchmark tests. Because I always wanted to visit Titan. And now I get to visit Titan in Starfield. So that's kind of interesting. And it's a GPU test. This is a very good GPU test because you're away from a lot of NPCs. And you can see at high settings, you can run the game at 4K on a 7800 XT. And you can see the power consumption is like 252. That's typically where it is for its average power consumption. So that shows that the GPU is being utilized to its full potential in this game. There's no CPU bottleneck out here on the remote moon. In fact, I think we can go look at the... Yeah, this thing... We actually need to do something over here. We need to fix the windmill. This one's, like, not working. H2O deposit, see? Now it's spinning again, yay. And there's one over there. I don't know. I think Starfield's fine. Like, I don't really have any problems with it. In terms of what you can do in the game. Like, see, you can see... that's cool how you can see inside there, and you can go in there. Now, will this game win Game of the Year? No. It won't. It's not that good. It's still a pretty decent game, though. It's a pretty fun game. It's just... There's some parts to it that just make it not as interesting, I guess, as some of the other games like Baldur's Gate and the Zelda game. Let me see, if I free this windmill, and then if I go talk to the NPC, do I automatically get the quest completed, even though I haven't actually accepted anything. There. Water added. Oh, I got water from that? The 7800 XT worth it to OC? Is there any difference? Is yours OC? No, mine is running stock. I will do overclocking. I'll look at overclocking in a future video, though. So... I can't fly above that? What? But no, this is stock. How do I, like, get a reward for clearing up those, the ice on those? Somebody was saying that they needed help on that. Well, I don't need to do any of that right now. That guy sells ships? Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Wait a minute. Wait. This guy sells ships? This dude sells ships? Really? Out here in Titan, in the middle of nowhere? Oh, I can't afford any of these. Yeah, I'll do a video on overclocking in the future. Basically, there's going to be a review. There's going to be a review of the card for 1440p. And we're going to do some other videos. We're going to do overclocking. We're going to look at ray tracing in a separate video as well. Wait, why is she... Why is the NPC not wearing her spacesuit? She was wearing her spacesuit earlier, and then now she's not wearing it? She's going to die. She's literally going to freeze to death out here. If I take my spacesuit off, I'm going to start, like, I'm going to get hypothermia. I'm just basically going to die. Like, what is this? What is this nonsense? Why is the NPC, like, not wearing her spacesuit? What is going on? That's weird. But this is like one of the coolest places to go to in the game. Besides going to like Mars or something, or one of the like sci-fi places that they reimagined or whatever. But yeah, running the game at 4K is pretty hard, as you guys can see. Just upgrade your PC, Todd. Yeah. Sarah is often glitched. Why is she not wearing her suit? Anyway, I'm not even going to ask why she's not wearing her suit anymore. Well, that's Starfield. For those of you that were wondering how Starfield runs at 4K on this GPU, it can't do Ultra. Unfortunately, you have to drop down to high for 4K resolution. But at 1440p, you can run the game fine on this card. So that's a look at how the game runs at 4K. Alright, so let's exit out of there. Let's try The Last of Us. Do I want to do The Last of Us? Alright, let's do The Last of Us Part 1. And then we're only going to briefly look at this game because this game is so hard to run. And because we're going to try to run this at 4K, we're going to have to turn on FSR to make it work. Okay, let's see. I gotta go in here, and we have to turn on. How do I turn on FSR? Because I know I'm not even gonna try to run this game at 4K native on this card, because I already know it's not gonna work. Okay, FSR 2. Just FSR 2. Yeah, just FSR 2 quality is all we need to do. This game is like Forspoken in that it's so hard to run. Although this game, for whatever reason, is so crushingly hard to run if you're on an older GPU. So look, even at 4K with FSR2, we can barely do, like, we're dipping below 60. Man, this looks good, though. This looks so much better than how the game looked when I was testing it at 1440p. Man. This game. The Naughty Dog engine, though, is super hard to run. Look at that frame. Look at the... You want to see a card struggle? See if I can find any items. Oh, there's some stuff. Oh, let me see something here. Runs better than Forspoken. Does this run better than Forspoken? Oh yeah, it does actually. You're right, it does. Yeah, it does. No, actually... Well, the thing is, see, this game... No, this game doesn't have any RT though. Forspoken has RT. You turn on the ray tracing in Forspoken, even though it literally doesn't do anything in terms of the image quality, the game Forspoken with and without RT looks identical. It's straight up fake. Like, the ray tracing in Forspoken is fake. It does absolutely nothing to the visuals. It's like so minor that you can't even tell. Like, you would lose a bet if you flip a coin and you guess which one is the image with RT versus which one doesn't have RT, because it's so fake in Forspoken, but yet it like tanks your FPS. So, but yeah, this game, as far as I know, this game doesn't have RT. See, like, it doesn't have lighting. Okay, hold up. Lighting. Yeah, see, it doesn't have it. Screen space reflections, that's not RT. But see, it has real-time reflections. That's not RT, though. It does warn that this has a major impact on the GPU, though. Man, everything though is just straight up maxed out full resolution or ultra or whatever the highest thing it can do. Shadows are full resolution. Now how do I make this well, I guess that's it. That's ultra. Yeah, look at the dip though, man. This game is brutal. This game's brutal. The first part of this year had games that came out that were so hard to run on anything older than like a 6800. That's crazy. I wish this game would have saved the progress that I made from like picking up everything that respawned over and over again from all the times that I benchmarked this game. Anyway, the only way... See, okay, let's try one thing. Let's try dropping the preset down to high. Wait, so Ultra uses 11.3 gigabytes of VRAM. But if we drop it down to high and apply the changes... Now let's see. Let's see how it looks. The stairs of death. I call these stairs the stairs of death for a GPU. Because every time I test a GPU, every time I look at the stairs, see what happens? I look at the stairs and the frame drops. I look at the stairs. See how we're like, over here we're like 66. Oh, life is good. Then you look at the stairs and it like dips. But on high, it doesn't dip as bad. Ultra, the stairs will make it go below 60. So I guess if you want to play The Last of Us, you'd have to do an optimized settings to figure out like what is killing the frame rate. in that long list of settings. Because this game has a lot of graphical options. But it looks like at least at high preset, the game still looks... I can't really tell the difference between this and Ultra. Ultra did look a little bit like the shadows looked darker in certain areas, so that might be the difference. Or that might be one of the main differences. But it's not dipping below 60 anymore the way it was when it was on Ultra, so... But yeah, this game and Forspoken are two, like, really hard games to run. So you want to see a game really stress a GPU? You test this. Look at the fence from inside. Oh. There. You mean the fence out there? The textures are not loading on high? What do you mean? Oh, yeah, the fence does look different. Yeah, the fence does look different. Wait, hold on, it's loaded there. Oh, but see, look. Oh, look at that, look at that, look at that, look at that. Look how the fence lights up. When you're a certain distance, the textures on the fence get culled. There's culling. Yeah. Yeah, see, look. Now they're always loaded. It changes the draw distance or something. Yeah, cause see, look, it's still doing it. They're still loaded in. Yeah, and see, the video memory is over 11 gigabytes on Ultra. Hey, Gershon. Yeah, so, man, this game is so brutally hard to run. Do you see the frame rate on this? 4K FSR2 is doing 55 FPS. Okay, you know what? Let's do it. Let's test native. let's test 4K native. 4K native. This is it. Here we go. Where is it? How do I turn off what I turned on earlier? Oh, here it is. Turn this off? Oh, wait, turn it off. Okay. Default. Oh, wait. Select default to use the operating system's built-in scaling? What's the operating system's built-in scaling? Render scale is 100. Okay, this is it. We're going to do it. 100% render scale. 4K resolution native. Wait. Hold on. Apply changes. Yes. Here we go. And also, I need to check one thing. The ultra preset. 4K ultra preset. Here we go. 7800 XT. A graphics card that's not even designed to do 4K. Let's see what we can do. 40. We're in the 40s. Up. 37. 35. Alright. Look at the stairs of death. Oh, it's not doing that bad. I mean, 35. 37. Let's see where we go inside. 40 something. We're in the 40s now. 45. 46. Yeah, I feel like I'm playing the game on a PS4 Pro where they unlocked the frame rate for a 1080p with upscaling. That's what this feels like. This feels like playing Dark Souls 3 on a PlayStation 4 Pro. This is what Dark Souls 3 plays like on a PS4 Pro with an unlocked frame rate. You're doing it in the 40s typically. All right, but see, it's actually, so basically it's in the 40s, but when you go outside where the draw distance is really far, then it can go down into the 30s. See, like it goes into the 30s. Some of that might be all this water though, like with this scattered, what do they call it? The diffuse reflections. It's not ray trace reflections, but it's like diffuse lighting. Or scattered lighting, screen space, or whatever the water effect is called. It's a reflection, but I forgot what the thing is. The water actually, the water up close looks pretty good. The water far away looks kind of like no to me. Yeah, but that's 4K. So 4K Ultra is basically like average FPS is like around 40 because it goes to like high 30s, lower 40s. You know, it's in that, so about 40 or so. That's how it does 4K native. So this is the reason why, like I say in several videos in the past, you know, 4K, if you're trying to truly game at 4K, there's really only the 7900 XTX or the 4090, or I guess if you're kind of budget limited, the 7900 XT can probably get you there because it does have 20 gigabytes of VRAM. I just feel like that one's missing a little bit too many cores, shader units for 4K native. But yeah, see, because at 4K native, it's pushing almost 13 gigabytes of video memory. So that's a lot. This is the reason why the 4070 Ti is dead on arrival, because at the price point that it sells for, which is usually around $850, that is such a waste of money for a 12 gigabyte graphics card in 2023, and this is proof of that. Okay, so I guess the bottom line is the game. This card is designed for 1440p, and this kind of shows that. Yeah, so you kind of have to do this. What balance is gonna do? Oh, balance renders at that weird resolution. Let's just go back to quality, because quality is 1440p. See, the thing is, FSR2, a lot of the complaints leveraged against FSR2 is usually with regards to 1080p. Like, not being able to hit 60 at 1080p is not a good thing, because you can't leverage upscalers when you're struggling to do 1080p. Now, if you're trying to do 4K, FSR and DLSS make a lot more sense because the rendered resolution is 1440p for quality, and 1440 already looks pretty good in terms of the resolution scale. So that's the reason why that's kind of how that works out. But I guess this game is so demanding that I'd have to go one by one to find out which one of these in particular is causing the frame rate to fall below 60. Because sometimes it's above 60 at Ultra, and other times it's below 60. And it's kind of weird. And I think it might have something to do with the draw distance or something like that. But in general, the easy button is to go in here and change the preset to high. That fixes it. But, you know, as we noticed, the stuff in the background kind of, like, suffers or behaves differently in terms of how it's loaded in. See, like, the way the fence looks. You have to get up closer to it to see it change. Yeah, that is a weird transition right around there. So, anyway, that is The Last of Us. So, let's look at one more game, I guess. Let's do Armored Core Fires of Rubicon. And that'll be the last game. I like how Afterburner like literally loads on the little load screen for, whoa, that's like blinding me. Okay. Oh, and this is a game I gotta play with the thing. I forgot. Okay. Okay, so again, here we have 4K. Let's do 120. VSync, whatever. VSync can be on or off, doesn't matter because we're never gonna go to 144. And then quality settings, maximum, everything. Auto detect best render settings. It doesn't have any kind of upscaler, so we're literally going to run the game at 4K native all the time. Let's do an actual... let's do it like an easy mission, I guess. How do I... Well, whatever. We'll just do these then. Wait, what? Retrieve data. Salvage historic data scattered throughout the subterranean tunnel. Compensation derived from saleable data recovered from PCA Rex. Let's just do this one. Whatever.
I have a personal request to ask you. It's about the Angabret Tunnel, which is to be shut down after it was hit by a coral surge. I want to go there and survey the area.
You think around Christmas it'll be that much? I don't think so. No. The card's not old enough to warrant that much of a price cut. The lowest you'll probably be able to see it is like $750.
Throughout the planet's history there.
When do you ever see Nvidia cards go on sale like that?
With which to pay you.
Never.
But I can propose an alternative. If you find any wrecks left by the PCA, you should try accessing them. Both the corporations and the Rubiconians are gathering data on PCA technology. Whatever you collect, I can exchange for credits and transfer the funds to you.
Alright, here we go. Just launch. Doesn't matter. Let's go. Going in. I haven't played this in a while either, but I think I still remember how to do it.
Thank you for doing this for me, Raven.
Main system activating combat mode.
All right.
Let's get started, Raven.
We're back in control of the mech.
Several wrecks that we should be able to recover data from. I'll send the marker data.
I have a bad feeling about going back in here. This place was extremely dangerous, and it was very scary to go in here and get out alive. Make it out alive the first time. Wait, why are there even enemies here in the first place? What the... Are those trying to like salvage and loot stuff too? It's kind of random.
Coral is able to conduct data and can influence digital equipment. The effects of the coral surge must have brought some of the wrecks back online. Let's see what we can find.
There's one here.
PCA craft data. I'll exchange it for credits and send them to you later.
Okay, one thing I noticed though is for some reason the system, the button prompts are, there's keyboard and mouse. I need to be on pad because that is very confusing. The thing about From Software is these guys, this is one of the few developers that when they set out to make a game, they will release the game on time without issues and it will run relatively good. Now, a lot of people complain about Elden Ring, but Elden Ring for the most part was very playable on a lot of systems. There wasn't any significant problem running that game.
That's about CC. The Rubiconians used to pilot these.
Okay.
This seems to be a recording of Domayan, the Liberation Front's ideological leader. But this appears to be something exceptionally personal.
You know, when I first started playing this game, they gave me, they give you a sword. They give you a gun and they give you a sword. The sword's in your left hand, the gun's in your right hand. I have never once removed the sword. I have kept the beam sword in my left arm the entire playthrough. I have not once ever removed it. And that sword has never failed me. It has made this game not a walk in the park easy, but significantly manageable, if you will. Like, it's not like, because I've heard people complain that this game is extremely hard. I've never really found this game to be overwhelmingly difficult, with the one exception of being like the Chapter 1 boss.
Generation of AC.
No coral tide is rising at... Wait, the coral tide is rising at a normal rate? This resonance is just some kind of mutation? Run the calculations, how much time do we have? 47 hours.
According to the timestamp, this was recorded 2 days before the fires of Ibis. This seems to be about the warning signs of the calamity, right before it struck.
I forgot how to use this. Oh, you just jump.
Research Institute, AC.
The game looks good, too. I kind of think this is From Software's best looking game.
This is about the first augmented humans. The same coral technology that created you. But without it, we never would have made contact. You're picking up any more data stores. If this outing has made you think about Rubicon's past or the nature of coral, then it was all worth it.
Oh, that was it? No boss fight or nothing? Huh. Yeah, this game looks pretty good for a From Software game. Alright, well that's gonna be Armored Core, so that's the last one.
One new message.
What kept you, 621? You're a famous mercenary now. Time to act like one. Just get some rest. That's the important thing.
Yeah, well that's Armored Core. Armored Core runs really good. Armored Core is a game that can run really good at 4K, native resolution, max settings on the 7800 XT. Doesn't use too much VRAM. It plays really well. It's really fun. It can be very challenging if you're not used to a From Software game. But it's very good. So, I guess that was kind of a look at the 7800 XT. You can see it's constantly pegged at 252 watts on average for most of the games when you're running it at an uncapped frame rate. So that is actually not that bad. This card might actually be the next 1080 Ti because it's able to do 1440, which I think is the new kind of target resolution, I think, for a lot of newer games. I feel, or I guess a lot of people that are wanting to upgrade and they're on PC, they're in the PC ecosystem. I think 1440 is kind of that new sweet spot resolution that a lot of people are migrating to from 1080p. I personally think 4K is the true upgrade path, but I can understand it's still very cost prohibitive for a lot of people. So this is great value, you know, like $500, 1440p max on pretty much everything. Yeah, there's not a whole lot here to say against this card. But yeah, the full review will be on the channel shortly, within the next couple of days, and then we'll probably look at overclocking and I guess maybe ray tracing and some other things, maybe some stuff with like adrenaline in the future videos. So if you guys like this content, feel free to subscribe to the channel so you'll get notified when these videos go live. And I do a weekly live stream with my viewers every Thursday evenings. That's usually a look at tech-related news and gaming-related news. So basically, upcoming hardware releases or leaks or upcoming games. So if you're interested in that, of course, subscribe to the channel so you'll get notified when that goes live. And then if I do a weekend stream like this, it's usually more gaming focused, like what we did here. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. Thank you everybody for tuning in, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Take care.